Sport.
It's been 22 years in the making. The Kangaroos tour England.
What do Great Britain have to do to win a test? Ricketson scores his second try and writes history. For the first time since 1986, Australia win the test series 3-0.
In Rugby League's battle for the Ashes.
Then links up with those.
Dummies goes himself, scores. He is a try-scoring machine.
Can he get on the outside of his man? He reaches out and scores.
Goes left, big Tino. Over.
Fasumala, he scores.
Spins at centre field, left Yo, turns it in Collins. Brilliant finish in the right corner. Oh, that's champagne rugby league. Game, set, bingo.
ABC sports coverage of the 2025 Ashes series. England versus Australia. First test from Wembley Stadium.
And a very good morning if you're listening in Australia, a very good afternoon if you're listening in the UK and right around the world on the ABC Listen app. It is great to have your company for the first Ashes test between Australia and England. It is late October and International Rugby League is alive and well. The Australians touring the UK for an Ashes series for the first time since 2003. Of course, it was Great Britain back then. But the Australians taking on England for the first time since that World Cup final back in 2017 at Lang Park. It finished 6-0 to the Kangaroos on that occasion. And these battles through the ages, those Kangaroo tours of yesteryear, will live long in the memory. We are looking forward to this one. Michael Carianis, John Gibbs, my name is Glenn Lauder. It is great to have your company wherever you are listening ahead of the Australia-England test match. We'll get to Michael Carianis in just a few moments. But as we build up to the first test at the iconic Wembley Stadium, where more than 60,000 fans are due to be in attendance with kickoff at 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon in London. It is a very good morning in Sydney to John Gibbs. Gibbsy, good to catch up with you for the first time since NRL Grand Final Day. And what a special occasion, of course, the Kangaroos touring the UK. It is always a special occasion. There is something about Kangaroo tours, and you were lucky enough to be a part of one back in 1978. Different times these days, of course, with the RLPA and things like that, but great to see a three-test series against the old enemy.
Yeah, good morning, Glenn, and to our listeners and to our MC. It's an exciting time. They haven't had this since 2003. Australia has been dominant for so long. I think they've won 13 Ashes series in a row. And I must say, though, 2003, it was 3-0 to Australia. But before that, 3 of the 5 Ashes series had gone to a decider. So there's been plenty of competition, but Australia's just had the wood on Great Britain. And we should also point out that in the 39 previous series, this is the first one that has been Australia and England. So that is very important, and I did some searching on that, and you know what the main reason is? It's about funding and grants and money. Well, it was all of those things.
A lot to do with marketing as well. I know they went to the fans in around 2019, obviously the last Great Britain tour of New Zealand, Tonga and Papua New Guinea, and they went to the fans and tried to get a little bit of market research as well, and the fans were very much in favour of splitting Australia, England, Scotland, Wales.
And the irony is, though, Glenn, is that all would basically be available to play for England because they all nearly live there. So on residency, they all would be able to get into the English side.
Yeah.
And I think this game, it'll be slower. The play the balls will be slower. And what is important is Australia is probably vulnerable because of the amount of players that have gone and played for the Pacific nations. So as a result, Australia is not at its best. There are many other players that are playing in the Pacific Championships at the moment that would be in the Australian side. There's still a good side, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying Australia is quite possibly vulnerable.
Well, Michael Carianis, good morning to you in Sydney. Obviously, we speak about the interpretations, and these kind of games are where the referees can have a big part to play as well. Obviously, we'll talk about the players in great detail, but Liam Moore, the RFL official, the Super League official, is refereeing this one. Grant Atkins will be in charge of the second test. So the fact that the Aussies have got an English referee in the first test means that'll have a really Super League feel to it. And it'll be hard for the Aussies to get their heads around, particularly, I'd say, in the early stages.
Yeah, for sure. Good morning, Gibbsy. Good morning, Glenn. For sure, yeah. It's obviously a different feel of the game when you've got a Super League referee. So it's interesting that they've locked in Liam Moore for this one, Grant Atkins for the second, but the third one's up in the air. So I find that interesting. So we'll get to see how that goes. Obviously, great to have International Rugby League back. Good to have the Ashes back. But it's good to see the Kangaroos in front of a huge crowd in England. It is an International Rugby League alive and well. We've seen what's happened across the Pacific over the last couple of weeks. And then, in Brisbane tomorrow is going to be a huge crowd. So it's great to see.
Just on that interpretation of the rules, that's one of the reasons why Willie Peters, the Super League coach of Hull Kingston Rovers, who won the Super League competition, has been brought in. So he'll be able to, give the players and, everyone a bit of direction in view of how the game is refereed. And he's a fine coach. I can't believe he hasn't been picked up by one of the Australian sides, one of the NRL sides that's been looking for a coach. Because Christian Wolfe did a great job with St Helens, won the 4 in a row, was basically unheard of here. Willie Peters has served here. He was at Manly for a while. He's been around the traps and he's had great success. And I think Willie Peters would make it in the NRL.
There was plenty of talk this year, Michael, with coaching merry-go-rounds and things, that Willie Peters is starting to get talked about in Australia and could very well be among the next cabs off the rank.
Yeah, he'll get a job in the NRL. It's tracking that way. He sort of intimated that he didn't want to apply for any jobs because Newcastle was the one that sort of reached out to see if he'd be interested in it, but he goes, can't really apply for a job when my full focus is on Hull KR, and if I'm applying for a job, I don't feel like I can come back to these guys the next week and tell them I'm giving them my all. So I feel like he's in the situation where he believes that it basically would need to lead to an appointment rather than an interview process, and whether or not he's got that calibre of coaching behind him to get to that, I'm not sure. Does he see out another year with Hull KR before trying to fast track his return to Australia? But I'm with Gibbsy. I think he'll definitely be an NRL coach in the short term.
In terms of Australians getting used to things, we heard Nathan Cleary speak about the in-goals. It's a bit of a foible, isn't it, when you go to the UK? The kicking games are so much more difficult because, you can see at Wembley as we get ready for this one that the in-goals are significantly shorter. I remember back in the day when Melbourne used to play down at Olympic Park. That was a bit of a quirk as well. So clearly the goal or the kicking in general play will be a factor for the Australians, and that is another little quirk that might give the likes of George Williams and Mikey Lewis, the England halves, a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, and just on that, Mikey Lewis has had a great season. He of course did some special things. He was the player of the match in the grand final, so he's also the 2024 Man of Steel. So Mikey Lewis is a real X-factor player. He's a gun. Plays for Hull KR, but George Williams, everyone you talk to who knows the English game says George Williams has been captain for a couple of years now. He took over from Sam Tompkins, but everyone says George Williams, he stunk this year.
Yeah.
His form has been ordinary, and a surprise that he's been picked in the side at all, let alone captain.
And he signed for the Dolphins for 2027.
Yeah, he has, and Morgan Knowles, the England...
They're hoping he improves next year.
The England lock forward will be heading to the Dolphins next season as well after 8 in 28 games at St Helens, including that grand final at the semi-final.
Yeah, but he played, of course, with Christian Wolfe, and so they've got a good association. That's why he's going to the Dolphins. But George Williams, they'll lift though. John Bateman. John Bateman, if you look at his form, did he set the world on fire at the Cowboys? I don't think so.
You're being kind, Jonty.
And then you look at players that have missed out. No AJ Brimson, of course, who has obviously recently announced his allegiance to the UK through his mum. And Morgan Smithies, obviously, who has been pretty impressive for Canberra. So it's interesting when you look at Sean Wayne, the England coach. A lot of people do question his tactics, and he's got a pretty good record as England coach. He's coached them 11 times and he's won 10 matches. But you look at the opponents, they haven't played Australia since 2017. So, yeah, it's a real step up in class for the English.
Yeah, it is. And what's going to be interesting, look, they've got a few standouts, though. Players like Herbie Farnworth, of course, brilliant, and he didn't play much at the end of the year because he tore his hamstring and that. I'll never forget that game against the Warriors. He made more run meters in 14 minutes he was on the field than any other player for the whole game. But they're going to have to rely on him. If you look at it man for man, Australia's got a real advantage nearly everywhere. But it's those interpretations, slowing down of the ball, the Australian players getting used to it. But Kevin Walters, in concert with Willie Peters, will have tried to have sorted that out.
We've spoken a lot about England, MC. Let's turn our focus to the Australian side, particularly one of the debutants who was just ridiculously good in the last sort of 8 to 12 weeks of the NRL season, led his team to a premiership as well. He's got the number 1 jersey ahead of Dylan Edwards. How crucial is Reece Walsh going to be for this side, and how big of an opportunity is it for Reece Walsh to show to the world how good of a rugby league player is if we don't already know that?
Well, it's a big bonus that it's a 1 o'clock start over there, and it's beautiful conditions because we know how good he is in daytime footy. You would have thought, obviously England's notorious for greasy conditions, and that would have detracted from his game, but these are obviously perfect conditions for Reece Walsh. The sun is shining, dry track, so yeah, he's going to ignite this game at some point. You just know he will. They give him a little bit of space, they get tired, they switch off for half a second, and he's going to bust through.
Talking about players that lit up the competition, Mark Nawanga-Nituwaze also. I mean, I know he's going to rugby in a couple of years for the World Cup and all of those things, but wow. Reece Walsh, Nawanga-Nituwaze were just sensational. Shibasaki, an incredible year that he's had as well. It's going to be really, really interesting how they all line up, and the redemption of Josh Adokar too has been pretty amazing.
He's had one of his best seasons in about 5 years, Josh Adokar, and when you've got the likes of Tom Dearden coming off the bench, that's how you know how well stacked you are, because if he interchanges with Harry Grant, Harry Grant could well play 80 minutes, but Tom Dearden is a player that can light up the side as well, and you just wonder how Kevin Walters can fit them all on the park at the same time, because all 4 of them in Cam Munster, Nathan Cleary, Harry Grant and Tom Dearden are absolute game changers.
Yeah, they are, and we don't know much about the bench of England. I will say this, though, there's only 3 players in their complete squad: John Bateman, Callum Watkins and Alex Walmsley, that have played against Australia, and they played in that game back in 2017. So, look, every way you look at it, you think that Australia should be too good. But I've been here before. I was at this very ground, and it brings back memories. That famous try that was scored by Cliffy Lyons, where it went through about a dozen hands. That was at Old Trafford, and that was after England had won Great Britain, should I say. It'll be England tonight. Great Britain had won the first test at this ground. It's been revamped. Yeah. And some of the Wembley, some of the records now, it's a little bit like the Sydney Football Stadium. It's on the same piece of turf, but the rules, the statistics have started from when the ground was new. Yeah. So the SFS even doesn't carry the old games now. It started afresh. So I don't know why that happens, but the powers that be decided that that's the way it should be.
Well, Australia has only played at the new Wembley once, back in 2011. That was a 36-20 victory over Great Britain then. So, we talk about the good old days and obviously those kangaroo tours. It was a very different game. The fields, Gibbsy, as you would remember from 1978, would have been extremely difficult to play on. It would have been cold. It would have been wet. They wouldn't have had undersoil heating like they do now at Wembley Stadium. But we also remember some of the vicious moments as well. Adrian Morley on Robbie Kearns, of course. Barry McDermott in that tour match for Wigan on Paul Sirenen. I do understand it. It's a different game and we probably won't see it, but how physical in general do you think this evening will be? How up for it do you think the England forward pack will be?
Well, I think they'll be up for it, and the slower it is and the more physical it is, the more chance England's got. Australia would not want to be sort of, drawn into that, because if they are, that could detract from their performance. Look, England will want this to be, a real close affair. But look, I think under the rules now that there's the video referee, the referees, they have very little tolerance to violence. So I don't think it's going to be like the good old days. We're not going to go back to the Vince Corralius days or Malcolm Reilly. Yeah. Malcolm Reilly. Now, he was brutal.
MC, Gibbsy obviously spoke about that real arm wrestle. How do you see this one playing out over the 80 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an arm wrestle as well. I think there's going to be flashes of brilliance. Will probably bring Australia home, but I feel like it's going to be a close game. We mentioned the interpretation. I think that will play a factor, but yeah, I think Australia will win just with a touch of too much class.
Yeah, we'd love to have your company as well. 0467 920 222, wherever you are listening, right around Australia via the ABC Listen app and ABC Sport Digital, and right around the globe as well. It is good to have your company. There's some international football happening as well. The Kangaroos might be in action. So too are the Matildas. They're in Cardiff, and they are taking on Wales. It is the first half and no score between the two nations. But Sam Kerr is starting for Australia. It is her first start for the national team in 725 days, of course, after undergoing ACL surgery, and has returned through her club Chelsea. So no score between Wales and Australia in that Women's Football International. Of course, Australia beating South Africa by 7 wickets at the Women's Cricket World Cup in India. Australia 3 for 98, chasing down that target of 97. South Africa bowled out for 97, with Alana King taking 7 for 18. They've topped the group. They'll take on India in the semi-finals on Thursday. Don't forget, the ABC Listen app is your home of the Women's Cricket World Cup. You can catch every match. Just look for the pink button, the World Cup button on the ABC Listen app. Of course, those two games in the Pacific Championships today in the bowl. Cook Islands in the women getting over Tonga 42-24, and PNG defeating Cook Islands 40-28. What a wonderful call it was, and so good to hear Andrew Moore back on the airwaves this afternoon calling PNG's victory over Cook Islands. Two huge games tomorrow at Lang Park as well. Australia-Samoa in the women's test, and then how good is this one going to be? Samoa-Tonga at Lang Park. Chauncey, the sea of red, that they're going to be bouncing at Lang Park tomorrow.
Yeah, they are, and you'd be a brave man to predict who's going to win too, because it's a dead set toss of the coin. And I must say that Samoa got quite a few players out injured though. They've got some injury concerns, but Tonga looks good.
Bit of team news, Jason Tamalolo's been ruled out of that one, so he's obviously a big out for the Tongan team.
Well, but Samoa's got plenty of players out as well. He actually last week, Tamalolo played really good. He went really well.
The Australians are heading out to Wembley Stadium for the first time since 2011. They are led out, of course, by their captain, Isaiah Yeo, and their fullback is Reece Walsh. The wingers are Mark Nwanganita-Waze and Josh Adokar. The setters, Katoni Staggs and Gemmet Shibasaki. Cameron Munster and Nathan Cleary are the halves. Matt Carrigan and Tino Fasumala-Awi are the front rowers. And Harry Grant is the hooker. Angus Crichton, Hudson Young in the second row. Isaiah Yeo is the lock forward. Tom Dearden, Lindsay Collins, Reuben Cotter and Keon Kolomatangi is on the bench. Debutants, Mark Nwanganita-Waze, Reece Walsh and Gemmat Shibasaki. They become 779, 780 and kangaroo number 781 when it comes to senior international appearances. Congratulations to those three players as we get ready for the national anthems of Australia and England. But first of all, of course, the England side will be led out by their captain, George Williams. And they are just waiting to take the field at Wembley Stadium. A wonderful occasion. So good to have International Rugby League alive and well, particularly the long-standing rivalry between England and Australia, dating all the way back to 1908. And this England side, with what you would think is the world against it this evening, they will certainly have home support behind them. 60,000 at Wembley Stadium.
The second test and third test sold out already.
Headingley sold out in about 12 minutes, I think, which is quite incredible. And another exciting opportunity to play at the brand new stadium, the Everton Stadium in Liverpool as well, which will be, that looks like a wonderful facility. I've managed to be at Wembley a couple of times, but clearly, given the freshness of that stadium, haven't been able to experience that. But I've been in the tunnel at the new Wembley, and this is just an incredible sight, an incredible atmosphere, and so good to see so many people in the capital getting behind rugby league in the UK. We know that London has struggled as a rugby league city for a long, long time, but certainly when internationals come to town, Challenge Cup final is always sold out as well. So the England team still in their warm-up jackets. Their fullback is Jack Wellesby. Their wingers are Dom Young and Tom Johnson. Their centres, Herbie Farnworth and Jack Wardle. The halves are Mikey Lewis and George Williams. The front rowers are Ethan Hubbard and Matty Lees, and the hooker is Darryl Clark. The second rowers, John Bateman and Kai Pearce-Paul. The lock forward is Morgan Knowles. And the bench will be made up of Jez Litton, Alex Walmsley, Owen Trout and Mike McKeekan playing for the Ashes. Owen Trout will be making his Test debut, the 26-year-old who played 31 games for the Lee Leopards in 2025, a former Leeds, Featherstone and Dewsbury player who's been to Wembley once before, losing the Challenge Cup final with Huddersfield in 2022. And just about waiting for the national anthems. I'm sure the likes of British greats gone by will be watching on as well.
I saw Ellery Hanley there, yep.
Martin the Fire. Adrian Morley there as well, yep. Let's have a listen to Rebecca Hart singing the Australian national anthem. Australian national anthem, and you can see a strong Australian contingent there as well as we get ready for Laura Wright singing God Save the King. Appreciate international rugby league and the rivalry that not only in rugby league but across all codes that England and Australia have and have had for a long, long time.
Wow, their players were into that. The English players were belting that out loud and proud.
And they look battle-hardened as well, don't they? Plenty of the England players. They've obviously been doing plenty of opposed sessions at training. I know Australia has had a couple of opposed sessions against France, not necessarily test matches, but did invite the French team over to London where they've been preparing for this for a couple of opposed sessions. And it's really hard to be able to fit everything in a tour, given, you know, the workloads that players are under. But, you know, it's so important to have teams like France involved, even if we can't get a test match against them. So well done to Kevin Walters and the Australian staff for ensuring that the French team did get an experience alongside the Australian side either. Just confirming as well, the 18th man for Australia, Bradman Best, and for England is AJ Brimson, who will miss out on his England test debut, unless, of course, there are concussion protocols that means he gets into the action. But, yeah, the England team look up for this one.
Yeah, they certainly do. Reece Walsh all smiles, and Reece Walsh has definitely built up this year around the hips and legs, and you can see not only the speed and his talent, but his strength, his power. It's quite amazing. And the boys in the last couple of days, MC, met up with John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, they did. We just rocked up to training with captain's run, I think, yesterday, wasn't it? Like, random things happen on these rugby league tours.
Big rugby league fan.
From way back.
I think he went to the ground thinking he was performing at Wembley.
Maybe he just had a gig last night. He was like, what are you lads doing here? I'm supposed to be performing. 0467 920 222. Hey, Glenn, Johnson, MC, so good to hear you all for this first test. Have a great call. Phil in Mudgee, thanks for staying up, Phil. And I'm listening to you from Hoskins Town, 50 k's east of Canberra towards Braidwood. Good reception. Regards, Phil Smith. Thank you, Phil, and good to have your company as well. Liam Moore is the man in charge this evening. His touch judges Mark Craven and Richard Thompson. Jack Smith is the video referee. So a full Super League team in charge of this one. As I mentioned, Grant Atkins will take control of the second test. So England will be kicking off. They'll be running from right to left on your radio dial towards the northern end of Wembley Stadium. And that means Australia will get first use of the football as we get underway in Ashes Test 1. England versus Australia for 2025, and Tino Fa'asuamaleaui takes the first hit up for the Kangaroos. He's brought to ground 12 metres away from his own goal line and 12 in from the eastern touchline. England muscling up in defence, 4 of them there, stopping Angus Crichton. It was an ugly play, the ball, but he gets up and Harry Grant scoots out of dummy half. 27 away from his own goal line in centre field. England really strong in this first defensive set. One off the ruck left-hand side for Pat Carrigan. Short 10 metres from Liam Moore, and Grant takes a few steps before sending Isaiah Yeo on his way. Makes it up towards the halfway line. He's held up in the tackle and then put to ground on his back on the last play. A metre inside England's territory. Go to Nathan Cleary for the first kick of the test match. He goes high, and it's taken over on that left-hand side by Tom Johnson, the Wakefield winger. And he returns it for England, but it's a good chase as well. Fa'asuamaleaui doing some defending along with Munster. And Johnson will play it 16 away from his line. Now here's Dom Young, no stranger to Australian audiences, with 4 tries in his 10 games back in Newcastle after that unsuccessful stint at the Roosters. England going one off the ruck at the moment, and they have the ball about 30 metres away from their own goal line, make it 35. They go short left-hand side for Kai Pearce-Paul, another Newcastle player in this England side, held up in the tackle about 5 short of halfway. Play 4 for England. They go to the open side. Mikey Lewis gets it back on the inside, and Ethan Havard, playing in his 4th test match on his 25th birthday, plays the ball in centre field. They go to the left and they kick down the short side, and it's taken by Mark Nwanganitawaze just outside the goal line, and he returns it about 17 metres away in centre field. 2 minutes gone in the first Ashes test. No score between England and Australia.
Well, early days we thought it would be an arm wrestle. Seriously, a couple of those sets were, or those tackles were about 6 or 7 metres. On one occasion he went to penalise the English side, but he thought better of it. He said, I'll let it go. They can settle it out themselves.
Josh Adokar plays the ball 30 away from his line. They go to the left, and Tino Fa'asuamaleaui takes the hit up about 11 metres short of the halfway line. 20 in from the eastern touchline at Wembley Stadium, and strong run through the middle by Isaiah Yeo. Plays the ball in centre field. Final play, so Munster on the left side. We go to the skies, and it's taken in the middle by Jack Wellesby, the St Helens fullback, keeping AJ Brimson out of this England side. They spin it to the left-hand side. Tom Johnson holds onto the ball under heavy pressure, and he takes the tackle 23 away from his own. Oh, that is good defending. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui smashes Jake Wardle, the Wigan centre, and he gets up gingerly to play the ball. On they go, the England side, and Dom Young has it on play 3. About 13 short of the halfway line. Decent set here from England. They're playing it down the left channel, and Darryl Clark, the veteran, will play the ball 8 short of halfway. They come to the right. Williams changes direction, back on the inside. And on the final play, England find themselves 3 short of the halfway line. So they'll go to the skies from just inside their own territory through Mikey Lewis. It's taken by Josh Adokar, and he will start this set for Australia about 27 metres away from his own line. Still no score, 3.5 gone, Michael Karianis.
Yeah, Tino backed up that big hit by producing 2 more tackles after that. So effort upon effort from the Australian big man. But yeah, it's been very physical to start this game.
Now, I was expecting an arm wrestle in the first half and then potentially Australia to take control in the second. And certainly these first 4 minutes or so, England have looked pretty good in defence. And it has really been an arm wrestle as they go to the left. Hudson Young will take the tackle 5 short of the halfway line. Incidentally, Hudson Young in the same side as Reece Walsh after coming to heads in that semi-final. I'm sure all is forgiven in Australia camp. Young gets up, goes again and loses the ball. So the first error goes the way of England, forcing the ball free from Hudson Young. And England will come up with a scrum feed. 4.5 minutes gone. The error from the right edge pack rower for Australia, Hudson Young. And it was going low in the tackle. Jake Wardle coming over the top, and he was almost looking for an offload. Quite sure what to do, Gibbsy, but advantage England there with the first knock on.
Yeah, and that was the first semblance of attack. They got the ball out a little bit wider. As a matter of fact, I think Hudson Young, he would have been better off if he went through as a decoy. It was on out wide. They had an overlap. They had space out wide, but they went short to Hudson Young, and he spilt the ball as a result. England get out of that one.
So they have the scrum feed, 10 short of the halfway line, and they go to the right for Herbie Farnworth. He'll take the tackle about 3 short of halfway. So England gets 6 again as well. The referee wasn't happy with how long it took for the Australians to get off the ruck, and so England have a full set. They're about 3 metres inside Australia's territory. Their best position of this test match so far. They go to the right-hand side through Wellesby, and then Farnworth takes the tackle. He's 30 metres away from the Australian goal line. 10 in from the eastern touchline. Left-hand side they come. Mikey Lewis goes through their hands, looking out the back. The ball's gone forwards off England. Backwards of Australia, I think the referee will say. So a mistake there for England, and Australia let off the hook because England were looking comfortable. Well, were certainly looking dangerous anyway as they were going forward, but they were just trying to force that pass, and Australia will get the ball back with 6 gone, still no score, Jonty.
Yeah, Mikey Lewis is the man they should have been getting the ball to, but that was knocked on. There's no doubt about that. That was ordinary play there. They should have gone out the back for Mikey Lewis, give him a bit of space. He's an exciting player. He can't come up with an error, but he's an exciting player.
Ethan Havard dropping the ball. He scored on Test debut against France back in 2023 and then started 2 tests last year against Samoa. But he's lost the ball there, and Australia come up with it through Gemet Shibasaki on Test debut. 30 away from his own goal line. Grant's at dummy half. Sumala Awi first receiver. And again, strong collision with coming over the top Morgan Knowles, helping out in the tackle with Matty Lees as they continue on through the middle of the park, the Australians, and they have the ball about 10 short of the halfway line through Carrigan. Lees and Knowles, St Helens teammates. Now coming to the left is Isaiah Yeo, and continuing on for Cameron Munster, who'll take the tackle with Havard down low and Bateman over the top. 3 short of the halfway line. Knowles coming over to complete it. 7 minutes gone, still no score between Australia and England at Wembley with Glenn Lauder, John Gibbs and Michael Karianis. And now it's Angus Crichton, 8 metres inside England's territory. Coming to the right for Cleary at first receiver on the last. Putting the midfield bomb up. The chase is on as well. But it's taken by Tom Johnson. He's looked pretty good under the high ball so far. It is a good chase. Pat Carrigan leading the way. And Johnson will start this set for England. 11 away from their own goal line. 20 in from the western touchline. Now here's Jake Wardle, I beg your pardon, who has the ball in centre field, 12 away from his own line. England having to do the hard yards to get away from their own end here. Tom Young goes on a decent run, almost breaks the tackle. And Munster does just enough to hold on and bring him down 30 away. Now they'll put a little grubber through on the third. It's chased by Farnworth, tries to get the ball away. It's knocked down by Reece Walsh. Was the pass backwards of Farnworth and knocked forward by Reece Walsh. I think that will be the call by Liam Moore, and they will get the ball back, I think, here, England.
Yeah, Zaire was left on the ground. He's just getting assessed now for a concussion. He was rocked in the Dom Young tackle. Tried to make a tackle on Dom Young, forced to the ground, and Yeah, he's in a bit of all sorts there as IO stumbles back to his feet. So they're going to look at that, and we'll get to see if the Australian captain has to come off for a concussion test.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. He got his head in the wrong spot, and as a result, he hurt himself. But Jake Wardle on that outside, he was trying to link there with Farnworth.
Yo's off.
Yeah, Ruben Cotter's come on.
So and it was knocked down by Reece Walsh, but just as well, because if he hadn't knocked it down, Water would have been away. But this is a head injury assessment. I would imagine it'll be Category 2.
Scored 2 tries in his first 2 test matches, did Isaiah Yeo at the 2022 World Cup. Of course, it was the 2021 World Cup, but it was held in 2022 against Scotland and Italy. But Ruben Cotter comes on in his 9th test match for Australia, and England, after that drop ball from Walsh, or that attempted intercept from Walsh, will start this set in good attacking position. Again, they have it 27 away from Australia's line. Can they come up with something here, the English? They have it at first receiver through Lewis, and then he continues on to Havard. And Ethan Havard is brought to ground 22 away from the line. Darryl Clark's waiting at dummy half. He points right, but he comes left. Knowles at first receiver, then through their hands. Here's Mikey Lewis, looks for a way through, and he has the ball. In fact, it's George Williams. I think Lewis is wearing number 7, and Mikey Lewis in 7 and George Williams in 6, so those numbers were the wrong way around on the team sheet. But I thought I was calling Williams earlier, and I do. Williams there at first receiver, then the ball over the top from Wellesby, but it's over Dom Young's head and over the touchline. They were trying to be expansive there. Was Jack Wellesby, the fullback, and he threw the long ball over the top. Dom Young couldn't reach it, even though he's one of the tallest players on the park. It goes out on the full, and Australia will get the ball back. 10 gone. No score, England, Australia.
Well, Josh Adokar had come infield, and as a result, that left a little bit of space down the flank, down that eastern flank. And Dom Young, though, as tall as he is, he's 6'9" or whatever he is. He needed to be 2.5 metres because he was never going to get that one. The problem for England is they've had opportunities, they haven't been able to capitalise. And against a side like Australia, you must take your chances.
So Mark Nwanganitawase has the ball for the Australians, 23 away from his own line. 0467 920 222. Nick from Big Little Brewing is listening. Best call on an early Sunday morning, especially after a few cheekies. Love the commentary, amazing. Thank you, Nick. Love your work, appreciate you. And now the Australians still going forward, just over the 40-metre line. They get up and play the ball through Katoni Staggs, 5 short of halfway. Left-hand side they go. Cleary's at first receiver, then Pat Carrigan goes through the hands of Munster, ends up with Reece Walsh. He's 5 metres inside England's territory before he's brought to ground about 12 in from the eastern touchline. Still no score between Australia and England. It has been a real arm wrestle through the first 11 minutes, and Harry Grant has it 32 away from England's line as he gets up and plays the ball about 17 in from that eastern touchline. Final play, Cleary goes to the skies, and once again it's Tom Johnson who they've been targeting, but he's come up with it every time so far. Tom Johnson takes the catch, and then he's cleaned up by Tino Fa'asuamaleaui about 12 away from his own goal line. He's looked pretty comfortable under the high ball through the first 12 minutes as Tom Johnson, Michael Carianis.
Yeah, he has, and it's going to be a great battle on that side of the field because Mark Nwanganitawase is such a great leaper, obviously in the air, so it's a great task out there for Tom Johnson, but so far so good.
Tom Young plays the ball 30 away from his line. England coming to the left-hand side now. It ends up with Havard. Changes direction back towards the middle. And he's wrapped up by Harry Grant and Cam Munster, the Melbourne teammates. Left-hand side they come. England up over halfway now. Trying to get away from a couple is Jack Wellesby, but they wrap him up. Ruben Cotter involved in the defending, so too Cleary. They're on halfway on the final play. England. Williams will go to the skies in centre field. It's straight down the middle, and it's taken by Reece Walsh, 20 away from his own line. Returns it up towards the 30, and the England fans you can hear in the crowd are impressed with the defending as Walsh, once again, an ugly play the ball, and that one is too ugly, according to Liam Moore. He plants as he gets back up. He didn't have control, and I think the referees probably made the right decision there. Reece Walsh has tried to rush the play the ball, and England will get the ball in really good attacking territory here. They've had a good opportunity previously, but they haven't quite been able to make too much of it. Just tries to step over the ball as he gets to his feet there, and England no score with Australia after 13, Gibbsy.
Well, they're very tough on this. You have to, and they mentioned it specifically in their rules and how their game is interpreted. They must retain their balance, and we've seen that happen in the NRL, but certainly in the English Super League.
We have a captain's challenge.
Bateman.
Australia
Bateman.
challenging the on-field decision of a knock-on. They're claiming there's been ruck interference.
Yeah, John Bateman does push Reece Walsh's head down, but I think it's insufficient to overturn this. But he definitely does push his head down.
Tackle one. Australia are challenging the ruling and no balance in control. Let's go back on this
I
angle,
reckon
please.
Reece Walsh goes at him.
Just go back
Reece
on this
Walsh is
angle.
trying to run into
just
John
just
Bateman.
before it, please. Yeah, let's go through now.
So we can hear the voice of the video referee, Jack Smith.
There's no contact on Reece Walsh at this point. Reece Walsh is playing the ball and he would have balance and control, but for the push to ground from John Bateman.
Challenge is going to be
the challenge
successful.
by Australia will be successful.
So this will be a penalty to Australia.
I'm going to say that's a lucky one.
It is a lucky one.
That's a lucky one because Reece Walsh, he played for that and he's come up trump. So as he has done the last couple of months, most things Reece Walsh do turn to gold.
So challenge successful for the Australians, and instead of giving away a scrum 25 away from their own goal line, they will get the penalty, and John Bateman is the man who's given it away for pushing Reece Walsh's head down, and it is going to be Nathan Cleary to kick the touch. What is it? Just on the 30-metre line, in fact. 13 minutes gone, no score between England and Australia. Of course, don't forget to tune in to our call tomorrow afternoon, both games live on ABC Sport, Pacific Championships, Australia-Samoa, and then Samoa-Tonga. Both of them in that double header from Lang Park. You can hear both of those on ABC Sport. Extra button on the ABC Listen app. Here's Ruben Cotter. Strong run for Australia off the bench. Of course, Isaiah Yeo undergoing that HIA. Cotter plays the ball 35 away from England's line, and then Pat Carrigan on the next play takes it up over the 30. He's 27 short of England's line with still no score. Playing the ball in centre field for Harry Grant. He comes right for Cleary. Ball out the back, cuts out a couple, ends up with Reece Walsh, almost finds a way through. I think the England fans are getting behind Reece Walsh as well. They're excited by the Brisbane fullback as much as the Australians are. Cleary's pass goes to ground. It's picked up by Crichton on the bounce. He changes direction. He's not sure where to go, so he crabs across field with no real options in sight. A little aimless there from Angus Crichton, but he'll play the ball 20 away in centre field. They'll continue right. Cleary on the last will put the kick high up in the air. Nwanga comes through, but he can't get there. He's saying there might have been an escort as Johnson goes to the skies and takes the catch. The referee's having none of it, and England will start this set 10 away from their own goal line. No score after 14 and a half.
Well, this game, the way it's been played, it is tough. And Dom Young, I've got to say, he's done some really powerful stuff, taking pressure off his teammates. And here he goes again, Dom Young. But this bears no resemblance to an NRL game. It is slow. The play of the balls are slow, and the 10 metres is skinny.
So Bateman has the ball now, 33 away from his own goal line, 12 in from the eastern touchline. England happy to get into the arm wrestle here and try to wear the Australians down. 10 short of halfway, Morgan Knowles gets up and plays the ball. They come to the left and they'll kick from inside 40, but it isn't angled correctly enough, and Nwanga can take it 10 in from the western touchline for Australia. And he might be dragged towards the touchline. Liam Moore is calling held, and he does finally hit the turf. 5 inside that touchline. Cleary finds himself at dummy half. He goes left for Katoni Staggs, gets away from one. Still going Katoni Staggs. He's 11 short of halfway centre field as he gets up and plays the ball. Grant's waiting at dummy half. He goes to the left. When Munster through the hands for Reece Walsh. Ball over the top. Josh Adokar goes without it. And it goes over the touchline. I don't think Adokar was expecting the cutout. Shibasaki was on his inside, but Walsh opted to go over the top. And Adokar went without the ball, and England will get the ball back just short, or just inside Australia's territory, with no score after 16 minutes.
It's like it got stuck in his hands.
Yeah, it was weird.
It went behind him.
It wasn't the greatest pass, obviously, but Adokar as well, the reaction wasn't the best. He sort of, I don't know. It was sort of like he left the ball for the player outside him. Well, obviously there was no one outside him because he's a winger, right? So I thought he could have made a better effort to catch that ball. But, yeah, it was a poor pass from Reece Walsh.
I think when he went to pass it, though, it's as if the sticky stuff in the hands, it's sort of a little bit of a reaction, and Adokar got a bit of a shock.
I think it almost looked like Walsh was in two minds as to whether he was going to pass to Shibasaki or cut him out. He kind of didn't know which way he was going to go, and consequently Adokar didn't know either.
I agree, they're rattled, but England's got to take their chances now. They've got to score.
They've lost the ball. Matty Lees has lost the ball in a decent tackle. Morgan Knowles comes in to offer his condolences, but yeah, Matty Lees has just seen the line there. Angus Crichton comes over the top, and that is a big let-off because, just as you were saying that, John Gibbs, they have to take the chances.
Well, they
missed out on doing so.
They've had good field position. Australia has obviously been rattled, and the body language from both sides is quite incredible. When something happens, they're all reacting, so they're feeling the pressure. This is a tight test match, as you would expect under these conditions.
Don't forget, the last time these two sides played, it finished 6-0 in that 2017 World Cup final.
Well, even in the 2003 Ashes series, the last one that we had, the 3 test matches, Australia won 3-0 over there, and the biggest margin was 6 points. It was 6 points or less, so they're always tight.
Yeah, 4-3 and 6, the margin in those 3 test matches, indeed. So Australia have the ball through Hudson Young, 10 short of the halfway line now. Left-hand side, they go for Fasumala Awi. He takes the tackle 9 short of halfway in centre field. We've had 17 and a half, almost 18 minutes of play at Wembley Stadium, and the scores are yet to be broken. And to be fair, haven't looked like being broken at the moment. Not any kind of scoring opportunities as Harry Grant at dummy half goes left for Pat Carrigan. And Carrigan puts his back to the defence and makes it to within 10 of England's half. Final play for Australia. Grant's at dummy half. Lefty goes for Munster. Puts the high kick up. Adokar chasing through. Young's there as well. Adokar picks his pocket. Young barely moves. Adokar takes the catch, but Young is happy to do so because he wraps him straight up on the final play. It'll be a changeover, and England will get the ball 10 away from their own goal line. I think Young, I get the feeling that he decided he probably didn't need a challenge for that one because he could just tackle Josh Adokar once he had it. He almost pulled out of that so he could make the tackle.
Yeah, it was good work. It was smart play by Don Young, and Cameron Munster was saying he can't hear anything. It's very noisy.
Well, we know what English sporting crowds are like. If you see the Barmy Army or if you watch Premier League football, you know how good they are at getting behind their team. And I can imagine that the England Rugby League fans are the same. As an offload for George Williams sends the former Canberra half on his way up towards the 30-metre line. As we mentioned, playing for the Dolphins in 2027. It'll be interesting to see when he comes up against Canberra, given the way that he left the Raiders and the relationship or lack of with Ricky Stewart following his departure. Bateman has the ball 36 away from his own goal line. As they go short right-hand side, Williams gets it away to Farnworth, almost breaks the line again. Potter holds on to him, and then Dearden comes over the top. I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, he's hurt.
Yeah, he could be hurt here, as it was Cameron Munster coming over the top, but Farnworth might be clutching at his ankle. As they come to the left, they put the kick up on the final play. It's taken by Walsh, and Reece Walsh will take it up over the 20, and that's a good run from Reece Walsh over the 30 as well before he is brought to ground in centre field. Play the ball, and they come back towards the inside. They keep it alive now. It ends up over on the right through Tony Staggs, and he takes the tackle 13 short of the halfway line, with Chibasaki finding himself over on the right as well. But Cleary goes into dummy half, and then he goes left to Nwanga Nwaze, who has the ball just short of the halfway line. We're a quarter of the way through this one. 20 minutes gone, no score in a real arm wrestle. Hudson Young has it for Australia, 4 metres inside England's territory. Fourth play now for Australia. Gets up and plays the ball, and they'll come right kicking early in the set. Cleary doing the chasing. Coming across is the fullback Wellesby, and he does well to get there ahead of Cleary, but it was a great chase by the Australians, and Wellesby will take the tackle 7 away from his own goal line as he gets up and plays the ball. And now Johnson coming off his wing still can't get past that 10-metre line. So tackle 2 is still less than 10 metres away from their own goal line as they try to turn the momentum back in their favour, the English, and Jack Wardle will play the ball 13 away from his own line. Tom Young now. There's a big 10 from Australia here. We saw that 10 metres earlier was about 6, and that looked about 14. Tom Young plays at 21 away from his line. They go short right-hand side now. Williams gets the ball away, and then Josh Adokar comes over the top quickly to wrap up Bateman over there on that right-hand side. Now they come back left, and a big kick down through the middle of the park. They only made 26 metres on that set, England, but it was a good kick in the end for Mikey Lewis, and Mark Nwanga took it on his own 20-metre line. He's returned it up over the 30, 34 away from his own line. No score, England and Australia.
Yeah, that was quite a good kick, though, because they were under enormous pressure. It was a great chase because they would have been fatigued, but they're able to get down and chase that Mikey Lewis kick. And Australia now, with a strong run from Lindsay Collins up towards the halfway.
Yeah, so the second interchange for Australia, with Collins on for Test match number 10 as they come to the right-hand side. They're up over halfway through Walsh. They've got numbers as well. Here comes Marky Mark, gets the ball back on the inside. Staggs gets it away to Reece Walsh, who flies over the line. The big swan dive. And the debutant, Reece Walsh, will score the opening try for Australia. Kangaroos fans in the stands celebrate. Referee Liam Moore has gone upstairs. He says he has a try. And at this stage, Reece Walsh, on debut, has given Australia the lead. It's Australia 4, England 0, 22 gone.
Well, that was on the back of very good defence. There was a good chase, as I said, but they were a little bit compressed. And Australia, they threw the ball wide. They gave it to Nair, and it was a beautiful pass out wide. And it was Cameron Munster gave the ball to Cleary. The cut-out pass to Walsh. Walsh was involved on 2 occasions. Now, is there obstruction? They're looking at obstruction.
Let's run this through.
I think there might be. There's definitely contact with Mikey Lewis here.
Man space. Hudson Young.
Lindsay Collins coming.
Carrigan ran in space. That could have been for a defender as well.
Yeah. And I think the Kangaroos
stay on the high behind, please.
Get away with a forward pass here from no longer need to Arce anyway. So I think his ball inside was forward, but
go back again, please.
I think they should pull this back on
Hudson Young, yeah.
Nice. It's minimal contact, but it's just enough to allow Reece Walsh to get on the outside.
Hudson Young's running inside shoulder and Lewis Waite's there, so we're okay on this point.
They're okay.
We're okay.
Pass then goes out to
the wing. It'll be a try now.
This is all okay.
Well, they can't, of course, rule on the forward pass, so Nongani throws it on the 30. That's taken by Staggs about 25 away from... That's gone 5 metres forward.
This will be a try. They're lucky to get away with that one, but that was on the back of that really good defence. And the swan dive from Reece Walsh was a 9.5 out of 10.
What about you, the video referee, in that situation, and you're watching that replay, watching how far that forward pass went, knowing you can do nothing about it?
Yeah. They should have caught it back for the obstruction.
Yeah. Square it up. So the try is confirmed to booze around Wembley Stadium on the back of a forward pass, but no obstruction. Australia 4 leading England 0, and we spoke only a couple of minutes ago, Gibsy, about the fact that it didn't even look like there were any try-scoring opportunities, but it's magic down that right-hand side once Mark Dewonganitawase gets the ball, and it was good hands through the middle as well.
Here's the conversion.
Nathan Cleary makes no mistake from adjacent to the right-hand upright. 6-0 Australia.
Well, it was good sleight of hand, and look, dubious. There was quite a few sort of bits to that machinery, because there was one on the inside with Pat Carrigan as well. Then Hudson Young, I think they were lucky to get away with that, apart from the forward pass. That can happen. But Nongani gave the ball inside to Reece Walsh, but Reece Walsh also got the ball originally from Nathan Cleary, so he was so heavily involved they couldn't recover, and he scored. But that was on the back of that real good defensive set from Australia.
He led try assists in the NRL this year with 26, did Reece Walsh. He's got a try of his own on his Test debut, scoring 14 in 21 this season, and of course Clive Churchill medalist as well. The Matildas have scored against Wales, 1-0. Courtney Evans scoring just before half-time, so the Matildas leading Wales 1-0 at half-time. Australia with the ball, first set after points through Harry Grant, 6-0 over England, as Pat Carrigan takes it up over the 30-metre line. He's brought to ground 33 away in centre field from his own goal line. Grant goes back to dummy half, less for Lindsay Collins. Collins takes it up over the 40-metre line. Brought to ground 6 short of halfway on the final play. Grant will come open side for Cleary to kick inside 40. It is downfield. It's a long one, but it's straight. Johnson takes it comfortably on his own 10-metre line. He returns it up over the 20, where he's met by Carrigan Young and also Ruben Cotter. And England will start this set 24 away from their own goal line. Trailing 6-0 after Reece Walsh's opening try converted by Nathan Cleary 22 minutes into this game, which was, as we've said, the first real scoring opportunity. Dom Young takes it up over the 40-metre line. He's about 9.5 short of the halfway line, centre field. They come to the left, going on a little bit of a run now, and then taking the tackle is Mikey Lewis. He's just over halfway, about 3 inside, and they have the ball through Williams. He gets away from a couple here. Brought to ground about 37 away from the line. It's the final play for England. They come left. Lewis puts the high kick up in the air, and it's seen by Josh Adokar and taken by Josh Adokar, who will take it up to the 10-metre line. There might have been an obstruction there as well, but he's tackled 13 away from his line. Australia 6, England 0.
Yeah, I just got word from the Kangaroos bench as Ayo won't be back. It was Category 1, so he won't play the rest of the game and will be ruled out next week as well. So Australia will need a new captain for Game 2 of the Ashes.
Nathan Cleary, would that be...
I think Harry Grant's vice-captain.
Okay, yep. So Australia potentially seeing Harry Grant captain them next week with Isaiah Yeo ruled out of that second test.
Well, he'd be captain now.
Indeed, of course, yeah.
With this captain challenge.
Didn't lead them out.
It'll
be
my boy Harry.
I take your point. As they go open side right for Hudson Young, who loses the ball. It's his second error tonight. It's picked up by Jake Wardle for England. And they will have the ball with 15 minutes to go in the first half. 5 metres inside Australia's territory after the error from Hudson Young on the right-hand side. He hangs his head as well. And Tom Johnston for England takes it up over the 40-metre line. He's 36 away from Australia's goal line. He'll play the ball in centre field, and Darryl Clark out of dummy half goes right, gets it away for Williams, continues on to Bateman. John Bateman is 26 away from Australia's goal line. Every time they've been down here, England, they haven't been able to come up with anything that resembles an opportunity to score. Can they change that here? They come to the left-hand side. Lewis takes it to the line. Now out the back they go, and Wardle fumbles, but he controls it, and he's bundled over the touchline. Everything England has tried to throw at Australia, the Kangaroos have been able to handle it with ease, and they do it once again. They're their own worst enemy here, England. As Wardle fumbles, it means that he has to regain, goes to ground, and then all Australia have to do is put him over the touchline. It was good pressure from Tony Staggs as well to force that fumble first. Australia 6, England 0, 26 gone.
It was, and when he was just laying there on the ground, he had Nwanganaitawase and Tony Staggs bang, and he was not going to stay in the field of play.
0406, that's my phone number.
Keep going.
0467 920 222. On the text line. Cheers, Elizabeth, listening from the back of Mudgee. Go Kangaroos. Thanks, Elizabeth.
If you're feeling lonely, call them later.
$4
company on the way home.
$4 a minute as they go to the open. So right, Nathan Cleary, Hudson Young. He has the ball 9 short of the halfway line. He'll get up and play at about 10 in from the 15 in from the western touchline. They go short as well for Nathan Cleary, and Nathan Cleary is met in a strong tackle and put on his back. Mikey Lewis involved, as was Kai Pearce-Paul. So the Australian halfbacks 5 short of halfway. Grant scoots out at dummy half, gets away from a couple. On it goes now to Ruben Cotter, and Ruben Cotter is a metre away from the halfway line in centre field. Australia is still holding on to that 6 points to nil lead. Grant out of dummy half goes right for Cleary. Now Nwanganaitawase has Staggs on the inside, gets past him. Cleary loses his footing, gets up, goes again. Picked up 6 again, touched by England. Hudson Young has it. They lose ground here, Australia, but they've got a full set. Munster's wrapped up in a heavy tackle, and they will start this set on 0 play, 27 away from England's line. They go to the left. Reece Walsh gets it away to Shibasaki. Flick pass back on the inside for Crichton, loses the ball. Australia had a full set at England's line there, and unfortunately Angus Crichton was unable to hold on to it for Australia. England get a let off there. The flick pass, I think it hits him on the nose. It was a falcon from Angus Crichton.
It did. It was unnecessary there from Shibasaki because he flung it back on the inside. Angus Crichton, he did, Glenn, you're right, he came up with a falcon as a result with a full set attacking the line 10 metres out. That was unnecessary there by Shibasaki. But England are rattled, but they're tough. But I can't see where their points are going to come.
Yeah, they're just not holding on to the ball. They're not building any pressure. And the Kangaroos there, I've got the sense that if they just completed through that set, they were going to produce more points. They're looking particularly dangerous on this right-hand side.
When they shift it, they are dangerous. When it goes through Staggs and Nwanganaitawase.
England don't have any kind of attacking spark in Australia's defensive zone. You'd expect when they get down there, they have Australia on the ropes, but...
And they've had more opportunities down there.
A lot more, yeah, as they come away from their own end this time. Morgan Knowles is taken in a tackle by Harry Grant, Angus Crichton, and one other in Lindsay Collins, 20 away from their own goal line, England. There's just over 10 minutes to go in the opening half. It has been a cagey affair. Reece Walsh's try is all that splits the two sides. And England will have the ball through Lees, about 27 away from the line. They go to the right through John Bateman. John Bateman is taken by 3 Australians, including Carrigan and Munster, 12 short of the halfway line. They've been making ground in their sets, England, but not really much at the end of them. And on the park now is Jez Litton, is the Hull KR premiership winning hooker. He's 4 short of the halfway line. They come to the left-hand side now. They spin it through their hands again. George Williams finds himself on the left. Quick from Kai Pearce-Paul to Wardle. He has Johnson on his outside. Goes himself, Wardle. Throws the pass back on the inside. Walsh was there. Knocked down. Picked up by Kai Pearce-Paul. This will be 6 again for England. And Morgan Knowles has it 12 away from the line. Well, once again, I reckon they took the wrong option there. He had Johnson on his outside, Wardle. He decided to go back onto the inside. I reckon if he threw it left, they might have scored. But they had the ball 5 away from the line. Alex Walmsley's on the park as well. Litton at dummy half. They go to the right. Lewis gets it away to another interchange player in Mike McKeekan. And McKeekan's only a metre short of the line. Jez Litton at dummy half. Goes to the right-hand side. Williams is waiting at a wide first receiver. And now that's a good one-on-one tackle by Josh Adokar on Jack Wellesby. And Wellesby, the fullback, is brought to ground 9 away from the line. Play 3 for England. This is their best chance so far. Left-hand side they come. Through their it's a poor pass out the back, and they have to go about 20 metres behind to get it through Jake Wardle. And Jake Wardle is brought to ground now 35 away from Australia's line. So you'd have to say on play 4, that is just about opportunity lost unless they can come up with something here. Pearce-Paul, flick pass out the back for Jez Litton, takes the tackle of Lindsay Collins. It's the final play for England, and they're still 35 away from Australia's line. Morgan Knowles is at dummy half. Williams will run instead of kick. Now he kicks over the top with Tom Young chasing through, but it's easy for Josh Adokar to take the catch 4 away from his line. Australia 6, England 0, 31 gone.
I agree. They took the wrong option with that pass, but Reece Walsh did a great job again. He did it on the other side of the field previously when he knocked the ball down in a try-scoring situation for England, and he went to the other side of the field, the western side, and knocked it down again when they were going to score. So he's come up with a couple of big defensive plays.
So that was Nwanga Nidawase playing the ball 12 away from his own line, and then they go to the left for Angus Crichton, who'll take the tackle of Bateman 20 away from his own goal line. It was a pretty messy play, the ball as well, as Harry Grant gets into dummy half, gets it away to Cotter. Now they go to the right-hand side with possible numbers here as well. Nwanga Nidawase gets the flick pass away for Katoni Staggs, but that was forward anyway, and it goes over the touchline. So messy stuff there from Australia. Starting with a messy play the ball, finishing with a messy forward pass over the touchline. England will get the ball back again in good attacking position, 30 away from Australia's goal line, with the Kangaroos leading 6-0, 8 to go first half, MC.
Yeah, you can see the way the Kangaroos are playing. All these players finished the year on with great confidence and a bit free-flowing, but they just got to rein it in a little bit. We saw the Shibasaki offload a couple of sets ago. Now the Nwanga Nidawase pass, they're just forcing the pass. They created enough opportunities without forcing the issue.
They've had good field position, England, but the possession percentage is 57-43 to Australia. But England, the good news for them, with only 7 minutes and a little bit of change until half time, is they're only that 1 try behind. 6 points to 0. They can that they will retain their confidence because they're close.
Some Aussie legends in the crowd. Pat Cash alongside Darren Lockyer and Will Anderson. And now Australia will give away a penalty. And England have an opportunity here, 20 away from Australia's goal line. So after giving the ball away via the ball over the touchline, they just hold on too long there. Harry Grant's arm in the ruck. And the referee, Liam Moore, has given England the penalty. So they're 21 away from Australia's line. 7 to go in the first half, England trailing by 6. They go to the left-hand side. Coming out of dummy half is Jez Litton on that run. And he's brought to ground 13 away from the line. They'll play the ball for Knowles at dummy half. They go to the right-hand side. Williams gets it away to Wellesby, and Wellesby's met in a good, strong tackle again. The Australians are doing it fairly comfortably near their own goal line. 19 away from the line is England. Left for Williams at first receiver again. Then back on the inside, that's McMeekan. And he's held up in the tackle about 12 away in centre field. In fact, Alex Walmsley on the park for England. They play the ball and come left. Here's Williams grubbering towards the in-goal. Knowles and Pearce-Paul are chasing clear. He gets there first. Bats it over the dead ball line. It's a goal line dropout. Better stuff from England, and probably the best end to the set for England that they've had at this end of the park in the first 34 minutes. Australia 6, England 0.
Yeah, that was a beautiful kick there by Williams. Absolutely superb, because skinny in goal areas. He had the players roaring for the ball. Nathan Cleary was a wake up to it. He came up with a really good save. But that's probably their best option, the kick.
And the other thing with that short in goal is Nathan Cleary had to slide through. It's artificial turf straight after that. So
Bernie.
He'll have a few grass burns or carpet burns on his elbows after that one. The short goal line dropout. Johnson knocks it forward. He's saying it's come off Australia, and the referee will agree. Mark Nwanganita-Waze is insisting it came off Johnson. Now the referee, Liam Moore, does say that Johnson lost the ball forward. Will England challenge? I've got to say that it looked like it came off England pretty comprehensively at first look. Let's have a look again. Oh, yeah, it's Johnson's batted it straight forward. 5 to go first half. Australia 6, England 0.
Yeah, obviously, I think it touches Johnson's finger and Marky Marks as well. So he's a little bit unlucky there because
Marky Marks has gone back.
Yeah, Mark has hit the ball backwards, but because it touched Johnson's fingers, it looks like it's gone forward on the way through. So it's an unlucky call there. It's the right call, but it's unlucky for England.
So after that short goal line dropout, Australia get the scrum feed. 4.5 to go in the first half. 12 away from their own goal line and a 6-0 lead after Reece Walsh's try on debut. Converted by Nathan Cleary. They come to the left, Australia. Yamat Shibasaki takes it up over the 20-metre line. In fact, he's pushed back just behind that 20-metre line. 19.5 away from his own goal line. 15 in from the eastern touchline. One off the ruck they come for Angus Crichton. Crichton's held up in the tackle by Mike McEachen and a couple of other England teammates. And then he's put on his back in glorious, late autumn sunshine in London on a Saturday afternoon. Around about 12 or 13 degrees in London, I believe, at the moment as they get up and play the ball. Australia left-hand side. They try to find Collins. He's the decoy player. It ends up with Munster, and Munster is 4 short of the halfway line in centre field. It's play 4 for Australia. And there's 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Scooting out a dummy half is Harry Grant. But England finally get him to ground. He almost found a way straight through there, Harry Grant. He's 25, 35 away from England's line. Now they come to the left. Munster puts the high kick up in the air. Josh Adokar went underneath Dom Young there. He lost the ball, the England winger, and it ends up with Angus Crichton, who picks it up and scores for Australia. But the referee will go upstairs here. He'll say no try. And I reckon Josh Adokar has gone underneath Dom Young to take his legs out, and this will probably be no try.
That's what it looked like. I think Josh Adokar has interfered with Dom Young.
Yeah, that was my first thought watching it live, was that Josh Adokar took out Dom Young, didn't allow him to make a fair catch, and it'll be a penalty to England. But, we got the last video referee decision wrong, so this one seems a little bit more clear-cut from under. What a ball from Reece Walsh.
Have a listen to Jack Smith.
Oh, this is all okay. Right, let's go close in on this, please.
Yeah. Josh Adokar puts his hands up to sort of abrogate himself in blame.
Adokar arrives early here and takes Dom Young out of the play.
Yeah. Well
thank
done,
you.
Jack.
I've made my decision.
Clear cut.
Jack Smith,
He's 1 from 2, Jack.
He explained that perfectly. Adokar got there too early. He was too fast.
And what I would say to Jack Smith, even though we disagree with the obstruction call that led to Reece Walsh's try, he's coming up with his decisions pretty quickly. He's not watching replay after replay after replay.
Doesn't help if he gets it wrong.
I understand, yeah. I don't know. I like to see it happen quickly. But anyway, that one he's got absolutely right. Josh Adokar has gone through the legs of Dom Young as he jumps to take that ball, and it'll be an England penalty, 12 away from their own goal line. It's a decent kick as well. They find touch Jonty 30 away from their own line.
Just by the way, he allowed that to play on Liam Moore, the referee. What about the flick on the inside from Reece Walsh to Angus Crichton?
It's a shame we're not going to talk about it again, because it was one hell of a pass.
As England head towards the halfway line with 2.5 to go in the first half. They have the ball through Alex Walmsley in centre field. Gets up and plays it quickly. They go to the left-hand side now, through their hands. Dummy in going, and Wellesley gets it away to Johnson, kicks back on the inside. Chasing through is Mikey Lewis, but the in-goal is too short for England as well. Wellesley and Mikey Lewis were chasing. They were going to get there first, but the dead ball line beat everyone, and it's an Australian 20-metre restart with 2.5 to go in the first half. Kangaroos 6, England 0.
Well, when they've shifted the ball on that side, they've had some luck. And Nwanganita-Waze came infield looking to make a tackle. It missed, and as a result, the kick ended in goal, but it was just a little bit too deep. 2 minutes to go until half-time. If they can hang on to this 6-0 deficit England, I think they'll be feeling pretty good.
Stephen from Engadine is saying, is there anything different you've done to be on your A game with a late start? Maybe we can talk about what we've done different in the half-time break. It's been weird starting work at midnight, but we love it, and certainly for a kangaroo test, that's for sure. Thanks for your text, Stephen, 0467 920 222. Australia on play 3 of 4 metres inside England's territory. Grant's at dummy half. He changes direction for Cleary to go back towards the ruck. Gets down on his knees, gets up, goes again, wasn't held, gets the ball away for Pat Carrigan, gets away from one, still going, gets the offload to Reece Walsh. Walsh will say he was tackled before he was in possession. Liam Moore agrees, and they get a penalty.
Tackle him before he gets the ball. You tackle him before he gets the ball.
Walsh wanted to take the tap quickly, but the referee hadn't given him a mark. But I think the referee once again got that absolutely right. And with a minute to go in the first half, they're going to take the 2 points and make it, hopefully, for Australia to take 8 points to 0, Gibbsy.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And Pat Carrigan, he was making a break, got the ball around the outside, and Reece Walsh was tackled certainly before he got the ball.
And Nathan Cleary is 30 metres out. He's about 30 metres in from the eastern touchline as well. So fairly adjacent to the post. In fact, he's pretty much bang in the middle of the park. So as long as he gets the distance, which he shouldn't have too much trouble with, Nathan Cleary.
You can take this one to the Bank of England.
I'm not sure whether I'm ready to pen this one in. I did it to Tanner Boyd in the state championship grand final. He was about 12 out right in front, and he shanked it. So I'm not giving Nathan Cleary anything here.
I am.
I'm with Jonesy.
We are right on the stroke of half-time. In fact, the siren will sound... What's it going to sound like at Wembley? Oh, the referee's called timeout with 3 seconds to go.
We'll still go.
Nathan Cleary from 30 out, virtually right in front to make it 8 points to 0 for Australia. The Penrith halfback moves in, makes no mistake. It's straight over the tiniest little black dot you've ever seen. And there is the siren. It's what we expected. It's a good old-fashioned Australian siren. Sean Wayne watching on from the touchline for England, the England coach. But it is the Kangaroos who have the advantage at half-time in the first Ashes test of 3 here on ABC Sport. Reece Walsh with the only try of the first half. Nathan Cleary with a conversion and a penalty goal to make it 2 from 2. And in a real arm wrestle, Chauncey, it is at the break at half-time. Australia 8, England 0.
Yeah, it was hard fought. There's no doubt about that. They had the bulk of the possession, the Australians, and England had their opportunities, as we spoke about during that first half. They just couldn't capitalise. They on occasion looked dangerous, but 8-0... that's not a bridge too far as yet, but 6-0 would have been good. But Australia, I think on some occasions they tried to push the pass as well. I think if Australia is a little bit more circumspect with their passing the ball under pressure, I think they should be able to easily account for England in the second half.
Yeah, it looks like Australia's clearly the better of the two sides. They've had a couple more opportunities, but I feel like if Australia would just not force their hand a little bit, they would have scored a few more points. Isaiah Yeo is a big out for him, lasted less than 10 minutes. The Australian skipper failed the concussion test, so he's gone from this match and the second match, and we've seen Harry Grant obviously assume the captaincy role in Yeo's absence. But yeah, entertaining first 40 minutes to start the Ashes.
Yep, it has been a very entertaining start. A real arm wrestle. The first 20 minutes didn't look like points, and then all of a sudden Reece Walsh broke it open, finishing off that good move down the right-hand side in the 21st minute. Let's have a look at some of the statistics. Australia with 53% of the ball. Both teams completing at exactly the same 72%, 13 of 18 sets. Australia making 805 metres off 100 runs. England 613 metres off 86 runs. 2 line breaks apiece. Australia 20 tackle breaks to 16 and 7 offloads to 5 also in favour of Australia. In terms of defence, Australia's made 151 and missed 16. England's had to make 189 and missed 20, both at around 87, just over 87%. 7 errors to 6. Australia worse off in that regard, and the penalty count is 2 apiece. Just repeating, Isaiah Yeo gone with a Category 1 HIA. The try for Reece Walsh in the 21st minute. Nathan Cleary converted that one, and then a penalty goal on the stroke of half-time. Around the grounds in the international friendly between Wales and Australia, Wales has scored in the second half to level things up after Courtney Nevin scored for the Matildas before the break. It is 1-1 in the second half of that match in Cardiff. Early up in the Pacific Championships, Cook Islands 42, Tonga 24 in the Women's Bowl, and PNG 40 over the Cook Islands 28 in the Men's Bowl. And Australia has beaten South Africa by 7 wickets at the Women's Cricket World Cup. Don't forget, you can get every game live on the pink button, the ABC World Cup button on the ABC Listen app. And those 2 big test matches tomorrow in the Pacific Championships, with Australia taking on Samoa in the women's and Samoa Tonga in the men's at Lang Park. But it is half-time at Wembley, and the Kangaroos are leading England 8-0. Let's get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Andrew Kalupas. US President Donald Trump says he'd like China to help him out with Russia as he seeks to bring an end to the war in Ukraine. Mr. Trump was speaking en route to Malaysia, the first point of a 5-day Asian tour that will also take him to Japan and South Korea, where he's expected to meet the Chinese President Xi Jinping. With more, the BBC's Sanjay Dasgupta.
The expectation still is that the main focus of the meeting between the US and the Chinese leaders will be trade. But as he flew to Malaysia, President Trump made a typically off-the-cuff comment to reporters that he would talk to his Chinese counterpart about everything, and hoped President Xi could have a big influence on getting Vladimir Putin to end the Ukraine war. China is Russia's biggest ally and provides economic support that is crucial to Moscow's war effort. While President Xi has also in the past said he would like the war to end, whether he would be keen to strike a bargain with the US president to bring this about is an open question.
Queensland health authorities are attempting to trace the origins of 2 homemade food products that are likely linked to a cluster of rat poisoning cases in Logan, south of Brisbane. A homemade capsicum, chili paste and a marinated eggplant dish believed to be distributed in the Logan area have tested positive for rat poison. The Health Minister, Tim Nichols, says investigations into how the food items were contaminated are ongoing.
We are working with the Queensland Police Service in respect to those investigations and continue the very complicated task of tracking that information further. The Queensland Police Service have advised me and they're continuing to work with the Public Health Unit.
Queensland Police are appealing for information relating to a fatal hit-run in Cairns. Police say a car struck a woman at an intersection in Trinity Park shortly after 4 p.m. on Saturday. The woman sustained critical injuries and died at the scene, while the vehicle, believed to be a white SUV, failed to stop and render assistance. A man's been charged with breaching a domestic violence order after a fatal car crash on Queensland's Gold Coast. The 24-year-old was driving with a woman and their 2 children when their car veered off the road and crashed into bushland at Ormo. A witness took the woman and a 3-year-old boy to nearby Beenleigh police station, where the child died, while the man and a 1-year-old boy were later found by police. Acting Superintendent Mark Mooney says police are still investigating the circumstances surrounding the event.
Obviously, as you can appreciate, there's a lot of moving parts in any of these investigations. There's 4 victims or 4 people involved in it that have been taken to several locations, and then the crash site, and then several other number of houses and witnesses that have been involved that we're still trying to work out.
West Australia's Attorney General says juvenile crime rates have decreased over the last 2 years, despite the arrest of 17 children over a 72-hour period in the Kimberley region. Children as young as 10 were arrested in the town of Kununurra after cars were allegedly stolen and reckless driving incidents involving a police vehicle. The Attorney General, Tony Booty, says while the events in Kununurra are terrible, the overall juvenile crime rate has declined.
Over actually the last couple of years, the juvenile crime rate has actually decreased, including the stolen cars. Now, of course, what happened over the recent days is terrible.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has joined celebrations at Uluru, celebrating 40 years since it was handed back to its traditional owners. Here's Harry Buttonshaw.
On October 26, 1985, Governor-General Sir Ninian Stephen formally handed back the title deeds for Uluru Kata Tjuta to Anangu following years of land rights struggles. Anthony Albanese travelled to Uluru to celebrate the 40th anniversary, expressing his thanks to the traditional owners for opening up the landmark to the world.
The Anangu people, of course, have been generous in welcoming everyone from around Australia, but also from right around the world to this place of such significance.
The theme of this weekend's event is Fire of the Past, igniting the hearts of the future, showcasing Indigenous arts, dance and arts and crafts.
A man's been charged after the Anzac War Memorial in Sydney's Hyde Park was damaged late last month. New South Wales police say an oil-like liquid was poured onto stones at the memorial and a separate liquid onto an Anzac Memorial plaque on September 25. Following a public appeal for assistance, a 59-year-old man handed himself into police on Saturday.
The summer of cricket just got hotter. ABC Cricket magazine is out now. Full season preview, all the stats, profiles, scorecards and more in your essential season guide. Out now at newsagents and abcmagazines.com.au.
The 2025 Ashes Series. England versus Australia.
They're up over halfway through Walsh. They've got numbers as well. Here comes Marky Mark. Gets the ball back on the inside. Staggs gets it away to Reece Walsh, who flies over the line. The big swan dive. And the debutant Reece Walsh will score the opening try for Australia. Kangaroos fans in the stands celebrate. Referee Liam Moore has gone upstairs. He says he has a try. And at this stage, Reece Walsh, on debut, has given Australia the lead. It's Australia 4, England 0, 22 gone. Nathan Cleary from 30 out, virtually right in front to make it 8 points to 0 for Australia. The Penrith halfback moves in, makes no mistake. It's straight over the tiniest little black dot you've ever seen.
The 2025 Ashes Series. England versus Australia.
Welcome back to the first Ashes test of 3 between Australia and England at Wembley. It's 8 points to 0.
You're right, Glenn.
With, Reece Walsh scoring a try. I'll just get back to that text message from Stephen from Engadine asking how are we on our A game with a late start. Mainly because I'm having chocolate croissants at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's your answer, Steve.
And snakes.
Yeah, lots of sugar, basically. So, John Gibbs, as I get this croissant cleared from my mouth, obviously Reece Walsh scored that try in the 21st minute. A real arm wrestle leading up to that point, but Australia has looked pretty comfortable, even though it's a low-scoring affair.
Yeah, they have, and look, their defence has been really good. England on a couple of occasions have shifted the ball and they've looked dangerous, but the Kangaroos' defence is really good. But under these conditions where it's a very skinny 10 metres and slow play the ball, so I mean it's very noticeable when you're used to the NRL, and the players, they're adapting okay, but it is frustrating for them. And I think that's why you see some of the rush passes, but they don't need to do that. It's the games over there, and Ashes games are invariably really low-scoring affairs, and this is no different. 8-0 under these conditions is a good lead. The good news, I suppose, for England, if they can score first, then they're within, close range of running down Australia. But the Kangaroos at this stage handling things well, all players going well. Reece Walsh has been outstanding again. The forwards have been busy. It's been a good team effort. No one really is standing out that much.
No, there's been a couple of moments of brilliance from Reece Walsh, Nawanga Nituase. I thought Tino defensively was outstanding early. But you're right, it's been a bit of a grind performance. We've hardly heard Munster or Cleary's name. Reece Walsh probably didn't get into the game until, the second 20 minutes of that first half, right? We hardly heard his name in the opening 15.
He came up with a couple of big defensive plays, but he didn't knock the ball down.
He did, definitely. So, yeah, it's been a strange game. It's not free-flowing footy, but it's definitely been tough.
I reckon England probably only had one really big chance where Mikey Lewis's little kick into the in goal, little grubber where they chased through. Tom Johnson put a kick over the top as well, the winger, which was probably a half chance. But you feel as though they need to be more clinical when they get into good positions, right?
Yeah, the other one was the line break they made.
Jack Ward.
On the left.
On the left, that Reece Walsh, which was what Gibbsy alluded to, shut down. They're the two big opportunities they've had, and they've got to ice them, right? And they've had better opportunities with the ball than the Kangaroos, but they just have struggled to look like scoring, haven't built any pressure. They've got one line dropout, and then Australia got the ball back.
So it's hard to really mount any really good attacking football when the players are at close quarters and the play of the ball is slow. And as a result, you're seeing two very good defensive sides, particularly Australia. So as a result, you're not going to see sparkling attack like you normally would expect, particularly in these conditions. Wembley is absolutely perfect. The surface is perfect. The afternoon is perfect for rugby league. It's dry, it's sunny, but the way the game is played, slow play of the balls and a skinny 10 metres means that it's hard to show you real talent.
0467 920 222 if you'd like to get in touch. G'day Glenn, John T and MC enjoying the call. Here's hoping the Kangaroos can go on with it in the second half. Tess, Cess and Baby Beck in Bethania. I hope I pronounced that correctly, in central Queensland. Thanks to Tess and Cess for staying up with Baby Beck in the middle of the night. I'm sure there's plenty of parents with newborns that are up in the middle of the night anyway.
How come that baby's name's Beck? Shouldn't it be Bess?
Bess, exactly. It's always good when babies are born during big sporting events. So our first daughter was born on the first day of the Sydney Test, so I was able to sit in a hospital room for 5 days with a baby watching the cricket. I hope you're going well up there in Bethania. Enjoying the call with crystal clear reception at Thunderbolts Lookout west of Tenterfield. Shout out to my sister watching in the crowd at Wembley. Loves the ref's Pommy accents. Cheers, boy, says Jag. How good's that? His sister heading over to Wembley to watch the game. That is fantastic. I think we might have a couple of representatives there. I think Bridget Murphy might be there, our sideline eye, and I think Ryan Hoffman might be there as well. Brad Talon as well is there, our Queensland stats guru. So, plenty of ABC flavour in the crowd at Wembley. And good to see there are lots of Kangaroos jerseys and lots of NRL jerseys as well in the crowd as well. And Blind Tiger says, hey, Estee, is this the start of Karianis' regime, not having a Maury call again? Well, the great news is, Blind Tiger, if you continue listening following the end of this broadcast, you will hear the highlights of Andrew Moore's return to the radio yesterday afternoon for the first time since his heart attack. He called that men's test match between PNG and Cook Islands. There was even a GSB at the end of it, so we'll have the highlights from that test match. And we'll also hear from Andrew Moore about what it felt like to be back behind the microphone as well. Certainly from our point of view, it felt absolutely incredible to have our boss, our leader, our captain back behind the microphone this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon. But the Australians are back out on the field, and England is heading out the tunnel at Wembley to join them as well in the second half. With that 8-0 lead, you've spoken, obviously, Gibbsy, about the caginess, about the way the game is being policed, rightly or wrongly by the referees, not having a terrible game by any stretch of the imagination, but the reality is Super League...
Well, that's their interpretation.
Yeah, Super League generally has those kind of games. So do you see it changing much in the second half?
No, I don't think so. And what I do know, if England doesn't score first and Australia gets, say, to a 14-0 lead, 14-0 in this type of football is like 30 in NRL-style football, if I can use that analogy. So it's imperative that England score first in the second half.
A reminder that Isaiah Yeo was ruled out with concussion after a head clash inside the first 10 minutes. He won't be back. And he'll miss the second test as well. We're back underway. Australia is kicking towards the left-hand side of your radio dial, and Alex Walmsley has the first hit up of the second half for England. Brought to ground 15 away from his line, and then from the next play, the winger Tom Johnson has it 21 away in centre field for England, who trail 8-0 as Mike McMeekin takes a hit up towards the 30-metre line. He's 27 out from his own line in centre field. Picked up one-handed Jez Litton at dummy half. Left-hand side he goes for Knowles, then back on the inside for a second carry for Alex Walmsley in this first set of the second half. Litton will kick from inside 40 out of dummy half on play 4. Josh Adokar wasn't quite back there. Reece Walsh goes back to collect, and he gets away from the first line of defence. Gets away from the second, gets away from the third. Over the 40-metre line is Reece Walsh over half. halfway over the 40, back on the inside for the Fox. Oh, it's a really important ankle tap from Herbie Farnworth because Australia was about to run the length of the field. Josh Adokar, 20 away from England's line. Right they go for Cameron Munster through a small gap which closes quickly on him, and he's 11 short of the line. Gets up and plays the ball for Grant, dummy half, left-hand side, one off the ruck for Lindsay Collins. Collins is 2 away from the line, adjacent to the right-hand upright. He'll slowly get up and play the ball for Grant, dummy half, changes direction right. Short ball for Young, flick pass out the back for Grant, backing up. Gets the ball away to Young again. Hudson Young goes himself, can't get the ball down, held up. Jack Wells becomes underneath, and Walmsley was there over the top. Held up over the line is Hudson Young.
Hudson, your ball, tackle 4.
So Australia will go back and play it, as you heard there from Liam Moore, on play 4. What about Reece Walsh just carving up England through the middle there? And if Josh Adokar wasn't ankle tapped, it was ta-da. They play the ball 10 away from the line. They come left, Pat Carrigan gets it away to Cotter. Ruben Cotter wraps it up like it's his firstborn with a couple of England players coming over the top of him, and he's 6 away from the line. Harry Grant's at dummy half. He goes right for Cleary to kick crossfield, going up high and taking it over his head. He's not going to need a Waze, but he can't reach out and put the ball down over his shoulder. England come up with it, and it's unlike Marky Mark to lose the ball when he goes up and takes a specky, but he does on this occasion, and a wonderful attacking set from Australia comes to naught, with England getting the ball back, trailing 8 points to 0 with 2.5 gone in the second half.
Well, what a couple of months Reece Walsh has done. What about that? That was absolutely scintillating there by Reece Walsh. He just split them open like a watermelon. It was beautiful play. And as you say, Adokar, the ankle tap from Josh Adokar, they're hanging on by the skin of their teeth, England.
They come away from their own red zone. They have it 26 away through Farnworth. He plays the ball in centre field. They come back left. Mike McMeekin takes the ball up over the 30-metre line. Ruben Cotter is there alongside Tom Dearden is on the park to wrap him up. They come to the right now and they continue on. Brought to ground 9 short of the halfway line through Williams. He plays the ball, Litton at dummy half, and they'll kick from just outside 40, but it was a pretty ugly kick. And it goes over the touchline from Lewis, 30 metres away from Australia's goal line. And the Kangaroos will get the ball back as they start trying to head back in towards England's territory. And we're just seeing another replay of Reece Walsh just carving them up through the middle, MC.
Yeah, that was beautiful to watch. A staggered chase, the staggered defensive line of Reece Walsh was always going to make him pay, but Farnworth's ankle tap saved the day. And they did well, England, to respond, because you would have thought Australia would have scored from the next tackle. They had a full set to play up, but England did well to hold on, because I think that would have been game over if Australia scored then.
Here's Patrick Carrigan, 10 short of the halfway line for Australia. He'll get up and play the ball for Grant, dummy half. Comes left, one off the... Cotter has to juggle, but he holds onto it at the second attempt, and he takes the tackle 7 short of halfway. So Australia can hold onto the ball. Munster has the ball. Cleary gets it away on that far side, and Young will slowly get up and play the ball just inside England's territory. They come back open side left. Munster gets the ball away, and then Ruben Cotter has the ball 11 inside England's half. It's the final play. Australia leading 8 points to 0. They come left. Angus Crichton goes straight through a gap. It's really starting to open up. He has numbers to the left of him, numbers to the right, but he doesn't need any of them. Angus Crichton goes himself and scores. The referee, Liam Moore, will go upstairs. He says he has a try. And they're just looking at an incorrect play the ball potentially all the way back. And maybe grounding as well. But 5 minutes into the second half, it looks as though Australia and Angus Crichton clearly has the grounding of the ball. Yeah, they're looking at the grounding here with the fullback coming over the top. Angus Crichton reaches out and
just check the side angle, just make sure if one of the corner flags, please.
So Australia 12, England 0, Gibbsy.
Yeah, it's a try. Hasn't been confirmed if it will be. Yeah, it's a try.
Back on this angle, please.
Jack Smith is a little bit concerned. He's doing his best to keep England in the game.
Hand is still on the ball, and the ball is grounded. Thank you. I made my decision.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's very polite. He's an English gentleman, but that was always going to be a try. They almost scored. There it is. Official confirmation. Liam Moore points to the spot, but he was looking to pass the ball to someone.
Yeah,
and went straight through. That was poor defence, and maybe that's fatigue, lack of concentration, lack of focus. I don't know what happened, but that all came about after Reece Walsh had them on the back foot. He was involved in that as well because Reece Walsh had given the ball on the outside. Munster got the ball to Angus Crichton. Angus Crichton, it was a training run. He was looking to give the ball on the outside, and someone has come up with a really bad tackle, and Jack Wellesby's attempt at the end was not very flash either.
Yeah, the point, Gibbsy, he looked for support twice. Once when he made the break, and then as he ran through, because he was of the opinion that Wellesby would have come for him at some point. Wellesby was like a computer glitch. Stayed on his try line. He didn't get off the ground at all. Like, he needed to make Angus Crichton make a decision there. Crichton couldn't believe his luck.
He was on tilt.
It was like Rugby League Live.
Yes,
As Nathan Cleary, I get the feeling, Angus Crichton would just be second nature doing that because week in, week out in the NRL, he would have someone closing him down so much quicker. So 12 points to 0. And the first 5 minutes have looked ominous for England. They've been cut open a couple of times already. Cleary from 20 in from the western touchline adds the extras, and it is Australia 14, England 0 with 6 minutes gone in the second half, and Crichton just goes straight through Alex. Walmsley made a really feeble attempt at tackle in the first instance, and then Wellesby was not at the races at fullback. So you wonder, I guess, whether Sean Wayne will be watching things like that and considering whether AJ Brimson gets a look in for his test debut. In the second test, Gibbsy, as Australia had the ball 12 away from their line.
Well, it's been defensive glitches, though. You can talk about those computer glitches Michael's talking about, but it's defensive glitches that has caused problems for them. When they let Reece Walsh get away and he went downfield comfortably, then they were always on the back foot. But Angus Crichton, that was terrible defence. So 14-0 is ominous now for England.
Ruben Cotter has the ball 25 away from his line. They go to the left-hand side, and Carrigan finds himself 30 away in centre field with Harry Grant at dummy half coming open side right. It's a good tackle from Kai Pearce-Paul, whacking Harry Grant to the ground, 12 short of halfway. He gets straight up and plays the ball, and then Munster will kick from inside 40 straight down the ground. Bounces on the 20, and then it's picked up in centre field by Wellesby, who returns it up towards the 30-metre line. 3 Australians there to bring him down, and now Wellesby loses the ball. It's gone backwards. It's touched by an Australian, says the referee, and they'll get 6 again here, England. So they're saying that the ball was lost by Wellesby, and then, Hudson Young makes a play at it, so it's a good decision by the referee, and now Tom Johnson will play the ball 28 away from his line, although the referee is saying that he's moved off the mark, so he goes back half a metre or so and then plays it in the right place, according to the referee. And now here's Dom Young coming up over the 30-metre line, brought to ground in centre field. So waiting at dummy half is Litton. He goes short to the right. They continue that way as well through Bateman, and Bateman gets up quickly to try to play the ball 8 short of the halfway line. He does so, and that's a forward pass out of dummy half, but it's not picked up by the referee. Williams goes left, long ball over the top for Mikey Lewis, and Mikey Lewis has the ball 7 metres inside Australia's territory. He's 10 in from the eastern touchline. They come open side right now for Kai Pearce-Paul, one off the right. Good offload as well from Pearce-Paul to McMeekin. Now he gets the ball away. Still they keep it alive. They go from left to right. Dom Young with space now. Can't get past Shibasaki, and as he goes to ground, he was almost going over the touchline, so he had to throw a Hail Mary, but it goes forward into the face of Reece Walsh. But it's a forward pass from England. Australia get the ball back on their 20-metre line, and once again, everything that England throw at Australia, the Aussies can handle pretty comfortably. It is 14-0 in favour of the Kangaroos, 9 gone second.
Well, the worst thing is for England is they've got to take chances. So they haven't been able to control the ball really well when they've been in the fight. So now that they have scoreboard pressure and 14-0, as we've said on many occasions, in the NRL, because the refereeing and interpretations are so different, this is not casting aspersions anyway, this is just the reality of it. 14-0 is a really big lead, and they are forced to make decisions, rash ones.
Good to have you company on ABC Sports coverage of the Ashes. England and Australia, the first Ashes Test series since 2003. The first between Australia and England. Of course, Great Britain involved in previous incarnations. And Australia, through Hudson Young, has the ball 25 away from his line. Thanks for keeping us company through the wee small hours in Australia and a beautiful Saturday sunny afternoon in the UK on the ABC Listen app and ABC Sport Digital. Angus Crichton is 11 away from halfway. He goes open side right for Carrigan, and then short it goes for Lindsay Collins. He takes the tackle 3 short of the halfway line. Here with Michael Carianis, John Gibbs and Glenn Lauder. Australia with a 14-0 lead. Cleary goes short right-hand side, and it ends up with Hudson Young about 8 inside England's territory. They come left, one off the ruck now for Reece Walsh to put the high kick up in the air on the last. Wellesby comes forward, takes it with the Australian chasers ready to wrap him up almost instantaneously, and they do so 21 away from England's line. One off the ruck left-hand side for Johnson, who's looked good coming in off the wing for England this afternoon. He plays the ball quickly, and they try to keep it alive through Dom Young. Gets it away to Farnworth, and they're pretty rudderless here, England. I don't know what to do at the moment. Owen Trout gets his first touch in international football on debut for England, the Lee Leopards forward. He plays the ball 15 short of halfway, and then Jez Litton is kicking out a dummy half. This will be a 40-20. That's a really good kick from Jez Litton. He was well inside 40. He tried one earlier and it didn't come off, but this time Jez Litton has seen an opportunity early in the set, kicked out a dummy half, and that is a 35-15, or is it? Yeah, 35-18 or something. That's a really good kick from Jez Litton, and they get the ball back, England, here. They play quickly as well. They're only 16 away from Australia's line. We'll keep going with the play here and get reaction from Michael Carianis and John Gibbs soon. Litton out a dummy half. He goes right. Here they've got an opportunity. Farnworth gets to ground, 8 away from the goal line and 5 in from the western touchline. Wellesby's at dummy half waiting for it. They want it quickly here, England. Can they get on the scoreboard? 14-0 they trail, and they have the ball through Trout. 11 away from the line. Small fish here, the big C, is the debutant Trout. He plays the ball for Litton, left-hand side. Gets it away for Williams, goes himself, loses the ball. Picked up by Welsh. And Reece Walsh is away again with open pastures over the 30. But he goes to ground, he slips over, and then he covers his head because he knew he was going to get clattered on the ground by John Bateman. And he takes the tackle 10 short of halfway. Australia 14, England 0 with 12 gone in the second half, Gibbsy.
Yeah, that was bad play there by George Williams. Nothing really was doing. Australia's defence is just too good. And Australia is playing the game like England. They're not allowing them any time to play the ball. And there's hardly been any 6 again. There's been a couple. But really, some of these slow the balls and the wrestling and the tackles is frustrating for all concerned.
Go to the right through Nathan Cleary. 27 away from England's line. Now they come back left. Cotter and Munster. Munster doesn't really have any options, so he has to spin around in a circle and then take the tackle. Slowly gets up and plays the ball 23 away from the line. Grant scoots out a dummy half, kicks for himself. Will it sit up in the in goal? It forces Wellesby to bat it over the dead ball line. They'll get a goal line drop out here and a potential another full set at England's line for Australia. And it is the Kangaroos 14, England 0, 13 gone in the second half, MC.
Yeah, nice bit of play there from Harry Grant. Needed a good bounce and got one, and a repeat set here for the Kangaroos. Karen Kamatangi is on the field for his test debut, his Kangaroos debut as well. Pat Carrigan played 53 minutes straight before coming from the field.
Yeah, 10 tests for Tonga. Keon Kalamatangi swapping the Tongan jersey for the green and gold, and this goal line dropout may go 10 on the bounce. It does, and Dom Young was the man waiting for it. Oh, that's really smart there from Dom Young. The bounce was perfect for England because it bounced about 5 out from the goal line, and then it just kept bouncing straight to Dom Young, who was standing just over the 10-metre line.
Well, that was a lucky one. They're going to make the most of that luck. There's Farnworth and Munster into it.
They're going for it. Farnworth and Munster, they're not happy, and now they come. There's push and shove everywhere. Dom Young's involved as well. I'll tell you what, the old school Barry McDermott's and Adrian Morley wouldn't be impressed with a winger and a centre leading the charge.
Relax.
Let's have a listen to Liam Moore.
Stands off.
Cameron Munster with his arm wrapped around Farnworth's neck.
And Cam saying he got headbutted.
Yeah. Lads, come on. Tackle 2. Be careful. No. Tackle 2, share ball. No. Tackle 2, mate. Tackle 2. It's a bit of both, boys. Just leave it there.
There we go. A bit of both.
I love it.
Yeah, smile on his face now. And no headbutt there. I mean, the fact that their heads probably did touch, but it was the fact that they were sort of colliding. It was more of a whiplash than a headbutt. So England continue this set now. 20 metres away from their own goal line. 20 in from the western touchline. Getting up and playing it is Matty Lees. And now they go to the left-hand side with Williams again. Gets it away over on that far side for Jake Wardle. And he's brought to ground just inside the eastern touchline after the tackle of Staggs. Johnson's at dummy half, and then Kai Pearce-Paul at first receiver. Takes it up to within 10 of the halfway line. Put on his back by 3 Australians. Cotter coming over the top. Cleary involved as well. So too Harry Grant on the deck. Final play for England. Changing direction is Mikey Lewis. Then kicking on the left. Hits the 30-metre line. Bounces for Josh Adokar. And he picks it up on the 20 and returns it to the 30, where John Bateman is waiting for him alongside Morgan Knowles. And Australia start the set 15 short of halfway. 15 gone in the second half. Australia leading 14 points to 0 over England. Mark Nwanganidwaze now 12 metres short of the halfway line in centre field. Grant's at dummy half. They come left now for Shibasaki. Takes it one off the ruck. They hit up into traffic, 5 short of halfway. On play 2. Harry Grant goes right for Did and gets it away for Cleary. And now Katoni Staggs goes up to the 40-metre line. Gets the offload away. Hudson Young on the backup. Hudson Young takes the tackle. 30 away from the line and 20 in from the eastern touchline. Gets up slowly again and plays the ball for Grant, dummy half. Left-hand side, Cleary. Gets it away out the back for Munster, and Walsh is in there as well. Shibasaki goes towards the defence, takes the tackle 11 away from the line. It is the final play for Australia. There might be, final play in this set. Adokar goes himself out at dummy half. They get 6 again. The markers weren't square, and it's a full set, 4 away from the line. England giving away a set restart on the last play. They go open side right. Munster gets it away to Grant. Dearden on the to Kalamatangi. Now here's Cleary. Pass has gone forward from Nathan Cleary. Johnson will be tackled in the goal, but it's a forward pass from Nathan Cleary. A huge let-off for England, with Australia looking at a full set at the home side's line. 56 gone, 16 gone in the second half. It's Australia 14, England 0.
Yeah, good defence there, good pressure, which forced Nathan Cleary into coming out with a pass that went forward. He was desperately trying to get the ball on the outside because they had an overlap. There was certainly Katoni Staggs out there and Nwanganidwaze, but Cleary couldn't get them the ball. They are battering England into submission. England's doing a pretty good job to hang on, and that's why it's so surprising, that try that was scored by Angus Crichton. Their defence in the main has been, fairly good. They have limited the opportunities of Australia, but that one, which is going to be significant coming the end of the game, was just inexplicable.
So England now coming away from their own end, having to do the hard yards from a long way back. Here's Johnson again, who's taken plenty of hit-ups for his side off the wing this afternoon. Plays the ball for Litton. They go left to Kai Pearce-Paul, and Pearce-Paul takes the tackle 21 away from his line. Quick play the ball as well, so Litton out of dummy half can help spin it to the right, and they do go all the way to the right, where it ends up with Herbie Farnworth, and he takes the tackle 35 away from his own goal line. Quick play the ball again. Scooting out of dummy half is Wellsby. Goes himself, and he's smashed on his back. Kalamatangi puts him down heavily, 10 short of the halfway line. And Litton out of dummy half will go left for Lewis, kicking inside 40. A heavy pressure. It's taken by Nwanganidwaze. Goes over the 20. Knowles is there to greet him, alongside with Matty Lees over the top. And Nwanganidwaze will take the tackle 26 away from his line, with Australia leading 14 points to 0. 18 gone in the second half. So approaching 3/4 of the way through this first Ashes test at Wembley Stadium, with a huge crowd in on a sunny London Saturday afternoon. Kalamatangi is 10 short of the halfway line, and Grant's at dummy half for Dearden, first receiver. Short ball for his North Queensland teammate Reuben Cotter, who is brought to ground on the halfway line. Centre field, they come left for Munster at first receiver. Good ball out the back for Walsh, and Shibasaki gets the pass away, but it was behind Josh Adokar, so he had to reach behind him and then dragged it forward as he did so. A knock on for Australia. England will get another let off here, and the ball back just inside their own territory, about 15 metres short of their halfway line. And with 19 gone in the second half, it's Australia 14, England 0.
Yeah, really good work there by Munster and Walsh, and they were able to combine, set up a play that saw Shibasaki gets his space. He gave the ball to Adokar. The pass wasn't the best, but I think Adokar was entitled to take that one.
Carry on. It's popping away to Sandstorm there.
Yeah, I think Adokar probably just got his timing wrong. It's probably too flat. And that's what created that missed opportunity there for the Kangaroos.
So they win the scrum. They go to the left-hand side. You need a bit of Darude at this time of the morning to keep yourself awake. I think 8 metres short of the halfway line as England head towards that stripe. Australia, incidentally, the Matildas have scored late against Wales. Caitlin Ford with an 85th minute goal to lead 2-1, a potential winner. That's a forward pass from England to Kai Pearce-Paul once again, not picked up by the officials. They get 6 again instead. That pass went about 1.5 metres forward. But anyway, it's another full set here for England. Maddie Lees will take the tackle 26 away from Australia's line. They come out of dummy half for Jez Litton. He doesn't really know where to go. Gets away to Knowles, then keeps it alive for Lewis, and Lewis takes the tackle of Munster, 26 short of Australia's line. Gets up and plays the ball for Litton again, scooting out of dummy half for the markers square. It was Cam Munster who grabbed him around the ankle and saw him go to turf, and then Koloamatangi finishing the job. Plays the ball for Knowles. Left-hand side, another forward pass, George Williams to Kai Pearce-Paul, and Kai Pearce-Paul takes the tackle 7 away from the line. Litton's at dummy half. They come to the right now, through the hands of Knowles. On it goes, and out the back for Farnworth. Farnworth tries to get away from a couple, and he takes the tackle 12 away from the line, with Australia still leading 14-0. Wellesby's at dummy half, left for Lewis, kicking towards that left-hand side. It's off the side of his boot, but it is picked up by Wardle. They can keep it alive here. Oh, the second grubber from Lewis is picked up by Marky Mark. Nwanganitawaze looks to go away, but the chasers recover pretty quickly and bring him down just over the 30-metre line. He's 32 away from his own goal line. Australia 14 leading England 0 with 19 to go.
Yeah, great skill there by Nwanganitawaze, because Tom Johnson, he kicked the ball and he thought it was going to, ricochet, but he kicked it into the foot of Nwanganitawaze, who was able to put it off his own foot and into his hands and then come up with a really dashing run.
So here comes Koloamatangi, 4 metres short of the halfway line. It's up slowly and plays it 20 in from the eastern touchline. Cleary gets it away to Cotter. Reuben Cotter takes the tackle 9 inside England's territory, with Bateman coming over the top. Plays the ball for Grant. It's the final play, so Cleary kicks straight down the hey diddle diddle. Wellesby doesn't want a bar of it. Johnson there is there to take it, and he returns it to Tom Dearden 10 metres away from the goal line, and 18 minutes to go with England trailing 14 points to 0. They haven't scored a try or a point against Australia since the 27th of October 2017, which is almost exactly 8 years ago to the day, in an 18 points to 4 defeat at Amy Park in that same World Cup that ultimately ended up in defeat in the final at Lang Park. So Mikey Lewis plays the ball 14 short of halfway, and they kick once again. Litton from inside 40 out of dummy half. This one doesn't have the angle either. Reece Walsh has to go all the way back to his own goal line to pick it up though, but he does make it up over the 10 and almost to the 20-metre line before the chasers reach him. You can see what Jez Litton is trying to do almost every set now at a dummy half late if he gets the opportunity. And now Matty Lees gives Reece Walsh a bit of afters on the deck, the hand in the face, and Reece Walsh, no surprise, gets up with a huge grin on his face. And now, on the next play, Josh Adokar was held down for too long, and Australia will get a penalty about 17 away. You can hear there, I gave you the first one, which was probably worse than the second one. But 17 to go, Australia get a penalty, and they lead 14 points to 0.
What about that? He's even admitted to he gave him one before, so that was very slow. And it was Herbie Farnworth who's penalised. There was a little bit of a massage into the face. They're getting frustrated. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these English fellows does something silly like a head-high tackle or something, just for a bit of tiredness, a bit of frustration.
So Shibasaki takes the tap on halfway, and Tino Fasumala-Awi is back on the park now for the last 16 and a half minutes. He'll play the ball on the halfway line. Tom Dearden's at dummy half. Back on the inside. Good ball back to Dearden. Koloamatangi was the man who got the ball back to Dearden there, and he plays the ball 10 inside England's territory. They go to the right-hand side now, and they have the ball through over there on that far side. Hudson Young, who is brought to ground 27 away from the line. Scooting out of dummy half is Grant again, looking for support, doesn't have any. So he takes the tackle of Knowles and a couple of others, including Lytton. Kai Pearce-Paul is in there as well. 20 away from England's line. It's play 4. They come left through Din, gets away to Cleary. On it goes Munster. Dummies goes himself back on the inside. Angus Crichton backing up for a double. Angus Crichton scores his second for Australia tonight. His 4th for Australia in his 9th Test match. And Australia are home and hose now, you'd have to think. 18 points to 0 with a kick to come. The blow-up Kangaroos are in the crowd. And the Kangaroos on the park are certainly starting to inflate as well. 15 minutes to go. It's Australia 18, England now.
Yeah, that was all too easy, and that was after Herbie Farnworth had given away a penalty down the other end. They're tired. They're out on their feet, and they have been absolutely suffocated by the Australians. And it was that penalty against that O'Carr. There was you could have penalised any of the 3 that were involved in the tackle. Well, there was 4 involved in the tackle. 3 you could have penalised. But good work by Nathan Cleary. Got the ball to Munster on the outside. Munster threw the dummy on the outside. Gave the ball back on the inside. And Angus Crichton was over. Good work on the inside also by Dearden. But his combination, Dearden, with Nathan Cleary and Cameron Munster was very good. And a stroll in the park for Angus Crichton.
He sprung to life a little bit in this second half, Cam Munster. Was pretty quiet in the first half, but has laid on 2 tries. And both to Angus Crichton, but both in different circumstances. One was a nice hole run from Angus Crichton. The second was a late offload from Cam Munster to Angus Crichton on the inside. So nice little combination there between the edge back row and a half.
So Nathan Cleary is 20 in from the western touchline. Ready to...
What's happened?
Oh,
You're right.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's
we've
all
got
right.
an hour to go.
It's good.
Yeah, we're on air till 3 a.m. as well, by the way, which we're really looking forward to. There's 14 minutes to go in this game. And we are on air until 3 a.m. So get your text messages in, 0467 920 222. As Nathan Cleary adds the extras, and it is 20 points to 0 with 14 minutes to go. As the rain starts tumbling in London, there was bright sunshine 15 minutes ago, and now it's pouring rain, 0467 920 222. And just to, go along with the theme of the moment, thank you so much, Glenn. Your calming, dulcet tones to finally put Baby Beck back to sleep, says Tess and Cess in Bethania. I'm glad that I put her to sleep, but I am hoping that she is the only listener that I put to sleep tonight.
I'm sure there'll be a couple that have fallen to sleep with the radio on.
Nodding off on the sofa.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be a concern is the second test next week at Evidence Ground. That should be a penalty. He's going to.
It's a knock on.
It's challenge.
Challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
There's hands all over Fasumala Awi then as he tries to get up and play the ball.
Falls over. Well, that's your prerogative. Okay, so for me, he's never maintained the balance. That's what I'm giving. You want to challenge it? Okay, mate. Time off.
Yeah, so Harry Grant is explaining.
Okay, mate. Jack, we have a captain's challenge.
Why he wants to challenge.
Australia challenging the on-field decision of incorrect play of the ball.
And Tino Fa'asuamaleaui was trying to get to his feet and play the ball with England hands all over him.
Tackle 1. Australia were challenging the ruling of no balance and control.
And you can hear Jack Smith is the video referee, but Liam Moore saying that he didn't get
They're
balance.
still in contact at this point, but we can't establish when the referee's comms are for the move call. So the challenge will be inconclusive. The referee's call of no balance and control will stand, and Australia will retain the right to challenge.
That was more of a penalty than the Reece Walsh one in the first half. All over him. He's trying. Tino's, as Harry Grant said and described it perfectly, Tino got on his front. He left the defenders behind him, and the defenders are trying to push up on his back to get to marker. That's not his responsibility.
What about how quickly they put up the challenge inconclusive side?
Anyway.
That was the fastest thing that's happened in this game.
Glenn's happy because it happened quick. We've got another hour, Glenn.
Yeah, they could have taken a bit longer there. As they go to the left-hand side now. Morgan Knowles has the ball 8 away from the goal line in centre field. Fa'asuamaleaui is there to do the defending on this occasion. Plays the ball. They out of dummy half from Lytton. Gets it all away, and they're only 4 metres away from the goal line. Good defending, Koloamatangi coming over the top to stop Matty Lees. 3 away from the line. Adjacent at the right-hand upright. Lytton out of dummy half. He goes left for Williams. Back on the inside, Kai Pearce-Paul. Bounces away from a couple of Australians. Still going is Kai Pearce-Paul. Fa'asuamaleaui grabs the jersey, and then Koloamatangi over the bottom drags him to ground, and they start this next play 8 away from the line, England. It's 4th play. They're trailing 20 points to 0. Farnworth plays pinball. And he takes the tackle 3 short of the line on the last. Plays the ball for Litt. They go left. Williams, short, Pierce Paul, flick pass out the back. Williams might have lost it forward into the hands of Lewis. Lewis celebrates, but the referee's got it spot on. Liam Moore has picked up the little knock on from George Williams close to the line to Matty Lewis. Lewis got up celebrating, but as soon as the referee blew his whistle, Matty Lewis has just given him a little nod of understanding. He said, yeah, I probably did pick that up after a knock on. So Australia remain 20 points to 0 leaders with 11 and a half to go.
There's no doubt about that. That was a knock on, and he was just trying to sell it to the referee and the crowd or whoever was interested, but that was rushed again. Australia's defence, you've got to give credit where it's due. Their defence has been absolutely outstanding. And when the second test comes along in Everton next week, refereed by Grant Atkins, it's going to be more free-flowing, so they're in trouble, England, after losing this game.
We're all back on deck for that as well. ABC Sport calling all 3 of the Ashes test matches. Of course, the final test at Headingley in Leeds as well. And Kalamatangi has the ball 31 metres away in centre field. Gets up and plays it for Harry Grant, who changes direction. Kicking on the third is Reece Walsh. Straight down the ground. Oh, from inside 30, it almost finds a 40-20. It's a 30-30, but that won't count. And England do get the ball back, but only about 23 away from their own goal line. And, yeah, clearly, unfortunately, George Williams just getting in the way of that opportunity for England. Didn't really know much about it, but Australia with that 20 points to 0 lead and 10 minutes to go, MC.
They've got a crowd too, Glenn, 60,812. So 60,812 people. Nice turnout for day one of the Ashes.
Day one, yeah.
Day one, yes. Game one. I'm used to saying.
I know.
I'm not used to saying. I'm used to hearing day one of the Ashes.
Yeah, well, that will be day one of the Ashes in a few weeks' time. Of course, the first test in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, and Sydney as well. All involved as they go to the right-hand side now. Farnworth keeping it alive for England. He passes back on the inside forward. Angus Crichton can pick it up, goes behind him, and he takes the tackle 29 away from his line. Munster wants them to get off a bit quicker, Matty Lewis, but the referee is happy for them to stay in the tackle for a little bit longer. Now here's Cleary, takes the tackle 29 away in centre field. Farnworth was looking dangerous there, but the pass was never really on, and Josh Adokar actually did quite well because he got his arm there to make sure that the ball went forward. Now here's Hudson Young up over the 40-metre line. He's 3 short of halfway. Gets up and plays the ball for Harry Grant. Coming to the left-hand side. Munster gets it away to Cleary out the back, keeping it alive for Walsh. Shibasaki numbers on the left. They've got 3-on-1. Shibasaki had Adokar on the left-hand side, but he had Reece Walsh on his right, and Reece Walsh is the man he chooses to go over and score his double on test debut for Australia. It is 24 points to 0, and after leading 6-0 just before half-time, the penalty goal made it 8 points to 0 on the stroke of half-time. It has been one-way traffic in the second half, and with 8.5 minutes to go, it is Australia 24 with a kick to come, leading England 0.
Oh, just too good, and he had a big part to play in that because it was on the outside from Munster, went to Cleary, then the run around, and Reece Walsh threw the dummy originally and then pinned his ears back, gave the ball to Shibasaki, who then gave the ball back on the inside to Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh had started that. Brilliant play there, but the combination with Munster, Cleary, Reece Walsh just bamboozled them. They thought he was going to run. He went to pass, he threw a dummy, gave the ball to Shibasaki, and then was ever present on the inside backing up. And Reece Walsh has had an absolute blinder, continuing his freakish form of the last couple of months.
He's been outstanding. He's been the best player for the Kangaroos. As Gibbsy said, saved a couple of tries in that first half defensively, but with the ball, he's been the most dangerous player on the field. He's been outstanding and will walk away with test debut with a man of the match performance.
And Nathan Cleary with the opportunity to add the extras. He
was cramping up too. He had to have a real stretch here before he placed the ball, so different conditions. Has anyone else noticed, you know how you got the signage, the Ashes? It looks like it's been done by the work experience person. Has anyone else noticed that?
It's a very thin font, I've noticed.
Very frail.
Frail, indeed. A little bit like England's defence in the second half. So Nathan Cleary has been perfect with the boot this afternoon. 4 from 4. He has the opportunity to make it 5 from 5 from not too far to the left of the posts. He strikes this one and makes no mistake. So it's 5 from 5 for Nathan Cleary. Doubles for Angus Crichton and Reece Walsh. And Australia going on to comfortably win the first Ashes test. They lead 26 points to 0 with 7.5 minutes to go. Michael Carianis.
Yeah, when we look at the Kangaroos' best, I think Reece Walsh has been clearly the best. Harry Grant has been outstanding. Ken Munster in the second half has sprung to life, and Pat Carrigan, 53 minutes straight, really laid the platform.
And the Matildas have beaten Wales 2-1 with Courtney Nevin and Caitlin Ford scoring the goals in Cardiff. Of course, they take on England in a few days' time at Derby County. And I'm sure Ned Hall will be looking forward to seeing Pride Park high on the Matildas list as they go to the right. Nwanga Nitawazi flies down that right wing. It was really good defending, though. He tries to get the ball back on the inside before it goes over the touchline. He manages to do so, keeping it alive back into the middle. Here's Cam Munster skipping away from a couple. Kai Pearce-Paul wraps him up, along with back on the field Darryl Clark. Incidentally, that 60,812 is a record crowd for an Ashes test in the UK. They come to the left-hand side. Cleary gets it away to Shibasaki. He fumbles, goes into Angus Crichton, who was in front of Shibasaki when he got the ball. So it is offside, and England will get the penalty with 6 minutes to go. But as soon as it goes to Mark Nwanga Nitawazi down that right-hand side, you always think something's going to happen, Gibbsy.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding game. That was a good tackle, though, by Jack Wellsby. He got him, but he did a great job to somehow stay in field. He's just got such great spatial awareness, Nwanga Nitawazi. But what about the pass by Reece Walsh and the running by Cameron Munster in the second half, as MC said, has been outstanding.
So Bateman takes the hit up after the penalty found touch about 5 metres short of halfway. But he's going backwards, and Kalawa Matangi and also Fasumala Awi wrap him up 5 short of the halfway line. They go to the left now here, and 3 Australians involved in the tackle as well. Hudson Young among them, as England continue just inside Australia's half. They go to the left, they have the ball through Wellsby, and then Kai Pearce-Paul takes the tackle, 21 away from Australia's line. 5 in from the eastern touchline, 5 minutes to go. 26 points to 0, Australia over England. Michael Carianis, John Gibson, Glenn Lauder on ABC Sport. Morgan Knowles has it 20 away from the line in centre field. They come to the right now, and they have the ball through Lewis. Gets it away, and Mike McKeegan keeps it alive for Wellsby. Now it's back to the halfback, Lewis, kicking through and chasing. There was a man taken out there. An England player was taken out on the way through. Katoni Staggs ends up with it, and the referee will come back. Liam Moore has spotted.
I'm giving an escort. Steps across him. Yeah, we're going to challenge that. You want to challenge it, mate? Okay.
So Harry Grant has decided to challenge the escort call.
Jack,
close to the line.
I think they want to rest. No, it's clear cut. They want to rest. I think that's all. They just want to get their breath back. They want to keep that scoreboard to 0 for England, because this has been a really comprehensive display.
We're on air for another 48 minutes, so they can take as long as they like.
Pass ball on foot. Kick chase to the left is onside.
Wellsby, no, it's not Wellsby coming through.
We've got something tighter in this, please. Maybe from behind the sticks, looking into it might be better.
Cleary's the man coming across.
He leans into it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Establishing the kick chase is onside. See the actions of Cleary here.
So Jake Wardle is flying straight through the ball, and Cleary.
He leans across him and he's moving laterally. This will be an escort. The challenge by Australia.
They just wanted to play. Harry Grant, I think he had half a smile when he actually challenged.
We got 4.5 to go. We lead by 26. We might as well have a breather.
Yep.
So it's an England penalty. 4.5 minutes to go. Attacking the line once again, Mike McKeegan. He'll get up and play the ball in his 12th test match. 5 away from the line. They get 6 again. Out of dummy half is Darryl Clark. They come to the left, and Morgan Knowles is brought to ground 3 away from the line. Can they get over the line here, England? For their first points against Australia in 8 years, they can. Darryl Clark is the man who scores it. bounces out of dummy half. Tired Australian defence, maybe switching off just a touch. And with 4 minutes to go, England is on the board. 26 points to 4 with a kick to come. And it is Darryl Clark in his 17th Test match, who debuted all the way back in 2014 and has scored a try for England with 3.5 to go. 26-4 kick to come.
Even this has been a most comprehensive victory by the Kangaroos. I'll be disappointed with that one because they would have been very proud to have kept England to 0. But Darryl Clark sensed an opportunity. They got the penalty, of course, after the escort ruled against Nathan Cleary correctly and challenged for a breather. But Darryl Clark, he did a good job to score.
389 Super League games dating back to 2011. As Lewis adds the extras, and it is 26 points to 6 with 3 minutes to go for England. So they are on the scoreboard, but it is way too little too late for this England side that, particularly in the second half, MC, has been comprehensively outplayed by the Australians.
Yeah, they won't be happy with that defensive effort just there, the Kangaroos. But, yeah, England deserves some points and to ensure that there is some life to this series still.
It's quite smart by Darryl Clark there. Obviously, all eyes were looking for a long ball out the back on the right-hand side, and he probably knew exactly what he was doing all the way through.
Well, he's got lots of experience. You said how many games was it? 389 or whatever.
Correct.
He's had a lot of games. And what had happened on another case is Harry Grant had made the tackle, and Darryl Clark got to his feet and realised that Harry Grant was in at dummy half alongside Reece Walsh, and he sensed an opportunity and he was correct. He got over quite comfortably.
Debuted in the 2014 Four Nations for England, played against Australia in that series in Melbourne. Started at Castleford, played 243 games at Warrington, and now at St Helens is Darryl Clark, the veteran. And England continue to push forward. I was looking through the stats to say, it's on in back play. Not quite sure what sparked this from the restart. 2.5 minutes to go.
Tino and Keon involved.
Good to see the big man muscling in. And Dom Young has been involved a couple of times for England this afternoon as well. Matty Lees and McMeekin are heavily involved as well. McMeekin's got some blood coming out of the eye. Cleary still pushing and shoving with Dom Young. And now Liam Moore has managed to split them up. Let's have a listen to Liam Moore. Well, it was McMeekin and Pat Carrigan. McMeekin playing the ball and Carrigan at marker. It started the push and shove.
Captain, yeah, okay. We've got tackle 2. Boys, calm down. You don't want any bands now, do you? Just
love it.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Tackle 2.
Stay calm.
You don't want any bands. There's 2.5 minutes to go. It's tackle 2. They continue on. Pat Carrigan only just back on the park as well. And him and Mike McKeegan. Fasil Malaawi now, and Dom Young having a push and shove as well. So maybe the referee will have to take a bit more of a step here, but we love the rivalry. England go to the left-hand side. Lewis gets it all the way to Wellesby, and Wellesby takes the tack. Fasil Malaawi is fired up.
He's on a mission.
And Cleary comes over the top to complete the tackle. Just 2 to go. There's more push and shove at marker and play the ball there as England go to the skies on the last. Chases are coming through. Well taken from Reece Walsh. And then he's slammed to the ground by Morgan Knowles as well. Well, England, there's less than 2 minutes to go, and now they're starting to fire up. Mark Nwangnidawazi takes the hit up for Australia. He's backing into traffic and goes to ground 25 away from the line. 20 in from the western touchline. Dearden finds himself at dummy half. He goes to the open side, and Shibasaki takes it up towards the 30-metre line. He'll slowly get up and play the ball for Harry Grant. Coming to the right, third tackle for Cleary to kick from inside his own 30. Bounces on the 20-metre line. It's a huge kick. This could be a 40-20 as well. Wellesby has to come all the way across and try to stop it from going out. He flicks the pass backwards. Dom Young has to go back and pick it up in the in-goal, where he's tackled by the Australian chase. Well, that was a fantastic kick from Nathan Cleary from inside 30. Wellesby had to fly across on his own 10-metre line. Does really well under pressure from Josh Adokar to flick the ball back on the inside, but Dom Young has to go all the way into the in-goal to land on the ball, gives away the goal line dropout, and Nathan Cleary has effectively got a goal line dropout from inside his own 30 metres.
Yeah, that was a big kick, but what a great chase by the Fox. He's back in the Australian side, and he loves it. There's a kick-off. The line dropout, it goes to Josh Adokar. They've got 30 seconds to score another try.
He has it 20 away from the line. He took it on the 30-metre line, gets up and plays the ball for Grant at dummy half and Dearden at first receiver. On it goes for Kalamatangi, and he's held 13 away from England's line in centre field. It's played two. They'll continue back to the left from Grant out of dummy half. Short for Crichton, looking for a hat-trick, goes without it. It's dived on by Dom Young. Loose ball from Australia, and that will be all she wrote. 6-5-4-3, and the siren will sound at Wembley Stadium. Sean Wayne, the England coach, cuts a forlorn figure on the touchline. A double for Reece Walsh on debut. He is all smiles, as he always is. There are questions on the face of Sean Wayne. He is absolutely stunned by this result. It has been a thoroughly dominant performance, particularly in the second half by the Australians. Reece Walsh with a double, Angus Crichton with a double as well. And after leading by 8 points to 0 at half-time with one try and a penalty goal as well, it has finished at Wembley Stadium. The Kangaroos, in the first Ashes test, have defeated England 26 points to 6.
8-0 at half-time, and a real dominant display, but it was that try that was scored by Angus Crichton, his first try, that he just strolled through some paper-thin defence that sort of set the tone for the second half. They tried, but they never really looked like scoring, except for that one try from Darryl Clark from dummy half, and that was from close range, and that's the only time they got over the line basically and score and put the ball down.
Let's get straight reaction now from Angus Crichton.
Yeah, you English guys know how to get behind a team, so it was cool to come out here at Wembley, a good crowd. They were into us, but it was good fun.
Did you guys achieve what you set out to today?
Not at all, I think. We were really scrappy. I think completed 78% in that first half, which isn't good enough for that test sort of footy, but what I did like was that gritty attitude. I'm disappointed we let in one try there at the end, but we worked hard for each other.
You had a good day as well, 2 tries?
Yeah, I should have had more if I wasn't headbutting the ball, but it's exciting. I think it's always good to get across the line. Got some good players out here, and they put me over.
What's it going to be like up at Everton?
What was that, sorry, mate?
What's it going to be like next week up at Everton?
Yeah, they'll be mad. I think, they'll be a bit more rogue than these guys. Obviously, they went hard today, but I feel like they'll be holding up a level going north.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Angus Crichton saying it was not at all what they set out to achieve, MC, 69% completions. But test footy, especially against a team like England's always going to be scrappy, right?
Yeah, it was scrappy at times with the Kangaroos. They had a couple of opportunities that they just didn't ice in that first half. But
to make your debut for Australia. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's pretty surreal for myself. Being at Wembley, being a bunch of world-class players, so we definitely felt the support from everyone that's here to support us. We appreciate you.
You seem to have gelled incredibly quickly as a team. I mean, we might have hoped you'd be a bit ring-rusty.
Yeah, pretty happy with how we were out there. We had a really good week of training, world-class players in our team, so made it a lot easier for us boys in the spine and everybody on the team.
Are you happier with the 2 tries you scored or the 2 that you stopped in that first half?
Oh, probably the 2 that I stopped. I think that goes a long way, getting the result tonight. Obviously got that late try there that we're pretty disappointed with, but we'll work hard during the week and try and get that stuff right.
Congratulations on a great win.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Reece Walsh is confirmed as the player of the match, and now let's get more reaction from Nathan Cleary.
How was that for you today?
Yeah, it was good fun. A bit scrappy at times, but to be able to pull on this green and gold jersey, it's amazing, and to play with this calibre of players, it's an absolute pleasure, and also at the stadium, it's unbelievable, so absolutely loved it.
Next week at Everton, are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, really looking forward to that too. Again, another great stadium with a good crowd, hopefully, so obviously want to build on this and get better, and just love my time over here.
A quick reflection on the game, where do you need to work on?
I think a few too many errors. Obviously got a lot of skill in our team and trying to put on plays all the time, but I thought in terms of how we connected as a group and defended well, that was the most important thing, so I want to build on that.
Very good. Thank you very much. Cheers. Good luck.
Yeah, Nathan Cleary looking forward to heading up to Everton, and now let's hear from the defeated coach.
End our sets better and put pressure on it, and until that very end you didn't, did you?
No, absolutely not. Our ends of sets were poor. I thought the best team won, Australia. They made, I don't even know, line break scored. We made line breaks, didn't score. We weren't clinical enough. But the positive thing is we can correct that. You know, we'll have a tough week this week, but I do feel we undersold ourselves today. We can be miles better than that, and that's what we aim to do.
It's such small margins, isn't it? In a game like this, you can't drop a ball, you can't miss a tackle.
International sport, that's it. That's what I've learned from coaching in Super League. You can't make errors. If you get a chance to score, you have to score. We didn't do that today. We weren't clinical enough, but it's something we can fix. I thought our physicality was good. And our efforts were good, but finishing our ends of sets, the way we kicked, all them things that have a huge effect on your energy.
And what will you be focusing on? What are the particulars that you'll take, the positives from it, but the focus for you going forward to Everton?
Well, we made line breaks, not enough, but we made line break. But when you turn the ball over on play 3 and 4, making extra tackles, and then all of a sudden you're gassed and you can't attack the same, it's tough. Your ends of sets, you know, making them defend every play is so critical at this level.
John, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, thank you.
We spoke about it in the first half, didn't we? Obviously, Sean Wayne touched on the ends of sets there. England had a lot of good opportunities in that first half, but let themselves down. They either lost the ball or Australia were able to see them out really easily.
Well, we said that in the first half, when they had opportunities and they didn't capitalise, and that was always going to be a problem. 6-0, that was achievable. They could come from behind to get that. Then it got to 8-0, that penalty right on half-time was handy. And then that try that was scored by Angus Crichton, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
He strolled through, and from then on, they never really looked like getting back into the hunt.
Australia were a class above, no doubt about that. The English side have to capitalise on their opportunities, and as Sean Wayne said, they actually had a lot of opportunities, and more than Australia did in that first half, but Australia just found a way to score points. I thought, the big name players of Australia stood up. Reece Walsh outstanding, Harry Grant outstanding. Munster was really good in that second half, so they helped lay the platform. Nathan Cleary, another quiet game at rep level. Like he did what he had to do, but didn't really stamp his class on the game.
Obviously, he mentioned the line breaks. Australia won the line breaks 9-3 and tackle breaks for 41-40, but you could tell that Sean Wayne was that he knows, or he feels at least, that England side has more in the tank. I mean, it is going to be a tough week for them, isn't it?
I think, and we saw him, visually, and then heard him. He's disappointed. I think he's deep down, personally, I think he's thinking, how are we ever going to beat this bloke? I don't think they can, really. And under Grant Atkins, the game will be faster because that's the interpretation of our referees. He might modify how he referees because he's refereeing over there in England, but I think the next game under Grant Atkins will suit Australia even more.
Maybe it's something about London for Sean Wayne, because he has lost 2 test matches in his 12-test career as coach. The other one was at the Arsenal Stadium against Samoa, 27-26. So both of his visits to the capital as head coach of the England side have ended in defeat. And obviously Australia is a big step up from a lot of the nations that England have been facing in recent times, the likes of France and Tonga and Papua New Guinea, etc. But take nothing away from the Australian side. Angus Crichton touched on it in his interview. They were messy, but they did get the job done, and they got the job done pretty clinically in the end.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It rained before. Now it's sunny again.
There was rain coming down.
It's like Melbourne.
Yeah. Well, it is London, I mean.
What about how rapid fire the post-game interviews were?
They were, yeah.
They didn't muck around.
Thanks to the BBC, they did a really good job on those post-game interviews. They were short and sharp. They could have been a bit longer, but... Nathan Cleary as well touched on obviously going to Everton. He's looking forward to going up. A bit of personal one for him as well, because Mary Fowler is recovering from an ACL, so she'll be in the stands at Everton, just down the road from where she's based in Manchester as well. And the Australians, they've got this one in the bag now, MC. Obviously, they can look ahead. The pressure is off a little bit for them. They still need to win the second test, wrap up the series. But, knowing that they've got the job done, reasonably comfortably in the first test, they'll grow an extra leg this week.
Well, the only talking point is who comes in for Isaiah. You'd assume Ruben Cotter probably starts at lock. He did a really good job when he came onto the field. And then you've got, Lindsay Smith, Jacob Preston as well as potential bench options.
It seems as though, Lindsay Smith was named in the extended squad today, so you would probably have to think that Lindsay Smith may get the go-ahead, but obviously Kevin Walters will name his team. You'd have to think he'll name his team on Tuesday.
Yeah, he'll name his team on Tuesday. Lindsay Smith, obviously, definitely a middle. Jacob Preston's an edge player, so it just depends on what you want. You've got Keon on the bench that can play both. Lindsay Collins is an out-and-out middle, so it just depends what you look for in your bench rotation. Cotter can play both as well, so it'll just depend. The two middles, Carrigan and Tino, can play big minutes, so...
I think they both went well. Kieran Kolomatangi and Fasul Malawi had Carrigan. Everyone played their role, and I think, Michael, in reference to Nathan Cleary, he didn't have to star.
No.
That's the thing. He didn't do anything wrong, and he gave some good service. His combination with Munster, and often it was Munster, Cleary and Walsh that were combining. They were very good. It was a good display, because what Sean Wayne did say, that I agree with, is it was very physical.
We're just waiting for Cleary to own a big rep game. I think that's the conversation, right? You saw Munster lay on 2 tries in that second half to Angus Crichton. There's nothing stopping Nathan from doing that on the other side of the field as well. But yeah, he had a controlled performance. He was solid, right? If Munster was an 8 out of 10, Cleary was a 7 out of 10, right? So he wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a solid performance from him.
Came up with a couple of decent kicks as well. Yeah. His kicking game is always fairly solid, as you'd expect. Hi, boys. This game sounds like the Laurie Daly led Kangaroos in about 96 or 97 when England had no idea, says David at Mount Pleasant. I think that might have been Super League, was it, when in 97, I think, potentially?
It would have been if they played England in 97, it would have been a Super League.
They did have the Tri-Nations, potentially.
I wasn't allowed to watch Super League.
No. I chose not to. Really appreciating the late night call. You guys are the A team, says the Mole. Thank you, Mole.
Are we taking calls in the last half an hour?
Oh, can we do something?
Ned, you got some calls?
Can you give him your number again?
Yeah, I just about did. Thanks for the effort tonight, lads. Glenn, you normally do put me to sleep, but tonight I'm finding your voice more soothing, says Simo from Queanbeyan. Thank you, Simo.
Simo's been on the drink.
I'm putting myself to sleep. Don't worry about that. Happy Rugby League, gents. Have we had GSB yet? Drifted off a few times. Sorry, thank you for your service, says one.
Yeah, we had it with Andrew. That's it.
Yeah, he said
to Andrew this afternoon.
He said it this afternoon. There might have been one. I drifted off a few times tonight as well.
Andrew definitely did say one.
He did.
It was so nice to hear him back on the airwaves this afternoon, listening to that game, and he didn't skip a beat. He was outstanding, and it's good to have footy on the radio. But the most important thing was that Andrew got through and was back to his best very early.
Yeah, I'm stunned. I'm not stunned because I know how much Andrew loves it. I know how hard he works, and that he got back so quickly is testament to the kind of guy he is. So great to have Andrew back as the leader of our team, and we will be back over the next couple of weeks as well with the next 2 Ashes tests at Everton and then at Headingley in Leeds. Earlier this afternoon, the Women's Pacific Championships in the bowl game, Cook Islands defeated Tonga 42 points to 24, and PNG defeated the Cook Islands 40 points to 28, both of those games in Port Moresby. Now, tomorrow afternoon, of course, the Gillaroos take on Samoa at Lang Park, and then that big one tomorrow afternoon between Tonga and Samoa. You hear about the players when they experience the sea of red of the Tongan fans. I was actually on the Central Coast earlier this week, and a car drove past with a massive Tongan flag. You know how you usually see a flag that's about A4 size? This one was about A1 size. It was massive. The Tongans absolutely love it. And how good is it for the international game? And how good will it be tomorrow afternoon to see the blue and the red go head-to-head at Lang Park tomorrow?
We've seen it before, and it's always fabulous. And these two sides has so many stars and so many NRL stars, so everyone is aware of the players that are playing for both Tonga and Samoa. And as Michael told us before, a loss so for Tonga, they've lost their skipper, Jason Taumalolo, he's out. But there's some players for Samoa that have lost their players as well. Samoa needs to win this because otherwise they may miss out. Well, they will miss out. It would be almost certainly Tonga-New Zealand final.
And then obviously, the talk is around eligibility and the fact that more and more players are starting to make themselves available for their countries of heritage, which is absolutely wonderful. It does, put into question what we do around World Cups and what we do around State of Origin. Do you think if they do change the rules, then some players, particularly, I guess, when you look at guys like maybe Jerome Luai, Jeremiah Nane, they do question their allegiances if either the RLIF or the NRL decide to tighten rules around that eligibility?
Re-Origin?
Yeah, Re-Origin.
Yeah.
But they'd still choose Origin over there.
I'm not sure. Like, Jerome Luai is 28 years of age, won an Origin series. Maybe he thinks I've conquered that arena. I'm not sure, right? Like, it's probably, Hamaso Tabuai Fidou is going to play for Samoa next year in the World Cup, right? Someone like that, Payne Haas. Does Payne Haas still want to play Origin? I'd assume Payne Haas still wants to play Origin.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it becomes a question, and it's something that will get sorted at some point. Like, I feel like at some point we're going to get to a situation where you won't be able to represent New South Wales or Queensland if you don't play for Australia.
Yeah.
And I'd be comfortable with that. But as long as we have Tonga, Samoa, New Zealand playing the same time as State of Origin, and we have a standalone weekend, and these guys are playing big games and generating income and things like that, I'm comfortable with it. I'd actually prefer that.
And I think you just touched on a really good point there, generating income. And obviously the players get paid a lot of money to play State of Origin. And
yes.
I understand State of Origin is the pinnacle of the game, but I also get the feeling that finances have helped make it become the pinnacle. Not have made it, but have helped make it. And I think if we're going to continue seeing players choose their heritage like Tonga and Samoa, they probably need to be properly compensated to choose those countries over State of Origin. Otherwise, it won't happen.
Well, Origin gets 30 grand a game.
Yeah.
I think it's $3,000 to play a
test
match. I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's the same for the Kangaroos, though, as well. So that they sort of, a few years ago, the Kangaroos made a decision, the Australian players made a decision to take less so other countries can get more. But, yeah, I think you'll see. I honestly believe that you'll see if we give it a little bit of time. Like, they're not going to be able to get $30,000 a game to start with, right? But once we have an opportunity to play a 3-game series, but I don't know who you play. It's got to be New Zealand, Tonga, or Samoa playing in a 3-game series around the same time as Origin, and that would generate eyeballs, that would generate income, not to State of Origin level yet, but I think down the track it could.
You almost have to have a fourth team, don't you? Maybe if PNG and Cook Islands have a playoff game and then the winner of that one goes into a 4. Something.
Well, don't forget PNG are going to have an NRL side soon.
Of course, yeah.
So that standard of that PNG team will be naturally lifted eventually.
Yeah, so Zane Bojack on the call for the first game between Australia and Samoa, and then Quentin Hull taking on the Samoa-Tonga game. You can catch those matches on the ABC Sport Extra button tomorrow afternoon. John Gibbs?
Oh, just before you do that, just digressing.
I wasn't doing anything.
I know, yeah.
And you're about to do the game for tomorrow afternoon.
I just did it.
Oh.
Go on, John. Keep going.
I was going to say,
there's only 2.
Who do you think? Which player?
Yes.
Has the most typewriter strokes? Mark Nawanganawaza or Tino Fasul-Malawi?
I reckon Tino has him by the apostrophe. I reckon it's the same, but Tino's apostrophe gets him over the line.
Tino's apostrophe levels him up with Mark Nawanganawaza, 18 all.
There we go.
With a kick to come. Thank you, Jonty. You've been good tonight. That wasn't your best.
And Keon Colomatano's got 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 10. I'm gaining.
We are on air for another 22 minutes. Great to have your company, 0467
Please send some text in.
The other, well, someone has. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for sending your text message in. He obviously raises the point about Fiji as well because, they're in a similar position to Tonga and Samoa in the fact that they can attract more and more NRL players to, choose their heritage.
Yeah, they're obviously not as strong as the other nations, whether that's because a lot of players in Fiji end up playing rugby union Tonga and Samoa becoming a rugby league stronghold. But, yeah, they've got a decent side at full strength as well. All these Pacific nation countries do now. Like, it's crazy to look at the talent in that side. That Samoan side that will play on tomorrow is better than the side today. Yes, sorry, is better than the side that lost in the World Cup final in the last World Cup. So that's where we're at in terms of the international game.
And you look at those front rows: Adam Fanua-Blake and Stefano Utoikamanu up against Josh Papali'i and Payne Haas. It's world class.
Samoa, we've got Hamaso to come back in, Stephen Crichton come back in, Spencer Leonard to come back in.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Like, that's world class.
Yeah, they're without those players. Yeah, that's
all those players. You throw Hamaso and Stephen Crichton back in. The only two players that you wouldn't consider, like at full strength, if they're full strength, the only two players that you probably wouldn't consider to play for Australia or one of the other big nations is Blaise Talangi and Jazz Tavanga. Otherwise, the others would be either playing or in the mix to be playing.
Yeah.
That's how good these sides have become. So I'm pumped for next year's World Cup in Australia. Like, it's going to be epic.
Yeah, it really will be. I think the sad thing is it's only going to be 10 teams. It's
I think that's fine. I think it's fine because we've got 5 teams that can win it now.
Yeah.
Right?
And you avoid those, 94 to 4 against Greece or 100 to 4 against
don't
Russia.
Pick on the Greeks, mate.
Well, England did. I didn't. England did.
So I think we've got 5 teams.
Are you their media officer?
No, I'm playing. I think the captain.
No wonder they got beat by 94.
No, I think 5 teams can win. I think 10 teams is enough for the Rugby League World Cup at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, they wanted to expand to the United States, didn't they? But that fell over, and France couldn't host it. So, we haven't had a big tournament on home soil for a while either. So that World Cup is to look forward to as well. But yeah, 26 points.
It's going to be in PNG as well, isn't it?
Probably.
There'll be games. Yeah, we believe. 26 points to 6. I didn't go through the full-time stats, so 53-47 possession. England with a better completion rate, 26 of 36, and Australia with 25 of 36, so really close. Australia ran for 1,679 metres off 192 runs, 1,165 metres off 166 runs for England. Line breaks 9-3. I did mention tackle breaks 41-40. Sean Wayne was obviously mentioning those in his post-match comments. Offloads were 13 apiece. Defensively, England made 337 tackles and missed 41. Australia made 276 and missed 40. So England effective tackles at 85% and Australia at 81%. So England shading Australia in terms of effective tackles and completions, but I understand that no difference on the score.
A lot of those stats are very even, and even the possession one, it's 53-47.
Yeah.
Yet Australia has pumped them.
Well, you look at the run meters as well. Australia made 2/3 more runs as well. So 14 errors to 12 in favour of England, and Australia on the wrong end of the penalty count 4-3 as well. So, yeah, you're right. But it means nothing if they can't score points. And that was obviously where England struggled, particularly in the first half when they did have better opportunities, but certainly tired in that second half. Just around the grounds in the other games as well in the Women's Cricket World Cup, Australia did beat South Africa by 7 wickets. It was a thumping performance. Alana King finished with the best ever figures at a Women's World Cup of 7 for 18. South Africa were all out for 97. And Australia chased it down pretty comfortably, 3 for 98. It means that Australia tops the group and takes on the host nation, or one of the host nations, India, in the semi-final on Thursday night. Don't forget you can catch every match on the ABC Listen app. Just look for that pink ABC World Cup button. And just recapping, the Matildas have defeated Wales 2-1 in that international friendly in Cardiff. They take on England in Derby. That's on Tuesday morning. The Matildas in action again against England. Now, obviously, it was a big afternoon here at the ABC. It's been a really tough couple of months, not particularly for us guys, but more importantly for Andrew Moore and his family after that horrible heart attack that he had late in the season. We didn't know how long he was going to take to come back, but in true Andrew Moore fashion, he came back quicker and stronger than anyone had potentially anticipated, but not really expected, because we know what he's like. And Andrew Moore was able to call for the first time since that heart attack back in August. So let's have a listen to some of the highlights of his comeback game as Papua New Guinea in the Men's Pacific Championship Bowl game in Port Moresby defeated the Cook Islands 40 points to 28.
The 2025 Pacific Championships.
Let's do it. As Laybutt puts left boot the ball, down it goes to the southern end of the ground, and the Cook Islands get the first touch. Plays it, dummies, goes himself, Rua, Ngati Korda, and he's over to score for the Cook Islands. Straight out of dummy half, the Cook Islands score, and they make PNG pay for the Jack DeBellin drop ball, and then a set restart on play 5. Well, now here's a break being made by Robert Derby. The Cowboys over the 30, beats the fullback easily. Iorka, and coming desperately was Allberg, but he can't get there. Try to Robert Derby. Plays the ball, they work it right. Through hands across now to Teague, back to Masters, inside to Rennie, runs over the top of one, over the 10, still going. Try Ruben Rennie, what an effort. Goes right to DeBellin, then away to Lockie Lamb. Oh, beautiful pass away to Reece Martin, and the veteran second row is over to score. What about the timing and precision of the pass from Lachlan Lamb? Try goes to Papua New Guinea's Reece Martin. In a dummy half is Edwin Apape. Goes to the left to Lamb. Floats the ball away. Through hands, Maria away to Robert Derby, and he beats Allberg to score in the southeast corner. PNG wins the scrum, and it comes right to the king, El Supremo, Alex Johnston. He's in the corner. I think he hasn't scored a heap of tries for his nation. Might only be his 4th in Test match footy, but he's able to score to the thrill of the crowd. Goes back to Reece Dakin for the Cook Islands. He throws a basketball over the top, and at 6 more tackles. Going for the goal line there was Kalis Rutorko, and he's able to score in the corner. Referee Sutton says try. Lamb draws his man, puts a left foot stab kick. Zach Laybutt read it beautifully, and he flies through, clutches it to his chest, and scores the try. Picked up by the Kummels. Away to McDonald, straight past one, over the 40. Cowley in pursuit. He gets past the Orca. Brings the ball backwards and forward. Was it a forward pass or not? To the fullback, Maria. 2 tackles to go. Comes right to Masters. He's playing on a different speed to everybody else, but he got the pass away, and stepping his way over to score the try for the Cook Islanders, Delilia Wigmore. Tiorka, back to Masters, interception. Bingo! PNG win. They win a thriller at the National Football Stadium.
The 2025 Pacific Championships on the ABC Listen app and across the Pacific on ABC Radio Australia.
Yeah, how good was it to hear Andrew Moore back, obviously calling that late win for PNG. Cook Islands were looking for some sort of desperation to try to find a way back into that game, but certainly it was a really happy time in the boardroom this afternoon. I know our executive producer, Ralph Tucker, was delighted to have Andrew back. Dean Hallertau and Matty Elliott alongside him as well. This afternoon, we're looking forward to having Andrew back on deck for 2026. Also, he'll be involved in the cricket coverage throughout the summer with the Big Bash and the Test matches as well. ABC Sport is your home of cricket this summer, of course. But let's find out what it all meant to the man himself back behind the microphone for the first time since that heart attack back in August. And let's see how Andrew Moore felt after the end of that.
I'm buzzing. That was exciting, emotional, scary, thrilling. It took me back to 1994 when I called my first ever game with John Gibbs, Cronulla and Penrith at Shark Park. I was that anxious before the game, and it was just overwhelming being back and exciting to see everybody. But when I started on air just saying hello, I got really choked up. it was awesome to be back. I'm really buzzing. That was such great fun. And I've got through it okay. I feel great.
That right at the end is the most important part. He felt great at the end of it. You can hear the emotion in Andrew's voice, and we all know what he has gone through in the last couple of months, and we all know how different things could have been. He mentioned, obviously, that game at Shark Park, 31 years ago, Gibbsy. Do you remember what he was like walking into the box that night?
Yeah, he was anxious. No, he was emotional and well done to Andrew, and he didn't miss a beat. He sounded really good in his call, and it's a big thing. And obviously, physically, he'll be okay. It's I think he knows how lucky he is to be with us, let alone calling football, and it's so good for his family. And I can remember back to those days when I first started working with Andrew, and funnily enough, I did a little thing in the last week in Byron Bay. I did a speaking MC to a men's shed thing, and which is about men's well-being and mental health and all of those things. And one of those that I interviewed was Pat Howard, and Pat Howard played in that game. That tackle by George Gregan on Jeff Wilson in the Bledisloe Cup, and a rare victory by Australia in the Bledisloe Cup game at the SFS. And Andrew and I called that game, and I said to Pat, I remember you, and I think it was Jason Little scored a try. There's some famous names in that game, but it's just incredible that he's gone from 94 to now. He's had a major scare. He's had a setback, but Andrew is a quality radio broadcaster. He's a quality person, obviously. We all know that, but he is a great broadcaster, and he showed that this afternoon.
Yeah, I did work experience with Andrew and Ralph in 1998 in commercial radio in Sussex Street when they didn't have they did have the rights. Yeah, that's right. And I wouldn't be sitting at this desk now if it wasn't for Andrew, because he was the one that got me into the ABC in 2019 as well. So I've known Andrew probably longer than I've known anyone in the media industry. Obviously, so more than anything, delighted for, him, Janine, and the kids as well, because, they get to continue to enjoy their life together. So text messages coming in as well. Wow, Andrew, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. Champion. Yep. And that's, the professionalism of the man as well. You wouldn't know because, as you said, MC, didn't miss a beat.
That's how I felt listening to it. I listened to the call today, and I spoke to Ralph after the show, and I said, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have known, right? Obviously, the beginning was emotional, and I texted Matty Elliott was getting emotional. I texted them both saying, "Come on, boys, let's go." And but he recovered well and was awesome. It's great to hear him back. I can't wait to annoy him again in person. Because that's what I like to do to the bloke. And I'll get a chance soon, hopefully.
Well, that's the great thing. It's all about, the fun that everyone has as well in this team as well. So I'm sure there will be plenty of that as long as the electric vehicle can get to wherever you're commentating at the time.
I think Louis is going to have to go a bit easier on me and Andrew.
You said you first, Gibbsy.
I don't think he's too scared to do anything to Andrew.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything to Andrew.
He doesn't do anything to Andrew.
You're just trying to bring Andrew into it so you get let off.
Protection. It's a protection racket.
Do you know the thing that I was filthy about in all the time that Andrew was off and I was covering him for him on Sundays? Not once was there a sandwich.
Wow, drama.
Wow. That's a sledge.
The day that Ralph rang me and said, mate, we're going to have to get you to do Sundays.
If I wasn't tired, I'd headbutt you.
Maybe you should because you're tired. No, you wouldn't ordinarily do it.
I'm okay. I'm a bit worried about a drill over there.
I know.
Yeah, Dennis has got his back.
It's been staring at me all game. Don't worry.
What about, can I just tell a story about Dennis Carnahan before we go?
It'd be boring.
I got here, a couple of hours before the game. The bloke was dripping with sweat in a singlet and running shorts. He had run from the Sydney cricket ground carrying a box of Lamingtons and muffins through the CBD.
He's a strange unit.
He is a weird human being.
Weirdest dude.
Thank you to Anna for your text message. Anna here in Aussie from the UK. Thanks for the Aussie commentary. I muted out the pommies and had you guys playing instead. Appreciate the late night for you. Thank you, Anna. Glad that we could be of service this evening for you guys. Yeah, so obviously, the Kangaroos will be celebrating that one now.
Oh, boys, it's not that late. And can I just remind?
No, it's not. It's early.
You know, it's going to be
3 a.m.
It's going to be later or next week.
Next week, we're an hour.
Yeah,
they're off daylight saving.
Yeah, so it's a 1:30 kickoff next week. We'll be on air at 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight.
Loving it.
Yeah, maybe we can do it out of the Brisbane studio. It'll still only be midnight there.
Well, no, I prefer not to.
No, I understand.
That makes a longer day.
Yeah, what kind of a week will it be for Kevin Walters and the boys?
It'll be a relaxed week. They'll have a few things to work on, and unfortunately, Isaiah Yeo, he got his head in the wrong position, so knocked out, ruled to be Category 1, so he won't be playing next week. And we discussed before, probably Lindsay Smith will come in onto the bench, you would say, with Ruben Cotter starting, but I just can't see how England can turn things around to the extent of, putting some pressure on Australia. Well, Sean Wayne alluded to it, but they weren't clinical enough. That's the thing. If they can score some points, that might change the thinking of the Australians. But all in all, Australia's defence was outstanding.
MC, obviously, you touched on it in the call. Harry Grant is the vice-captain of this side, but, whoever takes over, it probably will be Harry Grant. But they've just got so many leaders throughout the group, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah. Nathan Cleary is there, but I'd assume it's going to be...
Cam Munster as well.
Cam Munster, Tino, all captain their club. I'm assuming it's going to be... Well, it'll be Harry Grant. Harry Grant will be the captain. But you mentioned Kevin Walters. It's a big series for Kevin. He's only got a 3-game series, a contract, heading into next year's World Cup. And a 2-1 series win, I don't know if it guarantees him. But wins like this, if they bounce into next week and win like this, then you have to give him the World Cup next year, right? So it's a huge series for him.
Well, and in previous series, and statistically, and history has shown that the best chance that England have is in the first game.
Yeah.
When Great Britain, as it was in the previous...
Local referees as well.
Local referees, all of those things. You saw how the game was played. That's their speed. That's their chance. And they were thoroughly outplayed tonight.
They certainly were. It was a cagey first half. Reece Walsh scored the only try in the 21st minute. Nathan Cleary converted that. He also kicked a penalty goal on the stroke of half-time. It meant Australia led 8-0 at the break, but it was in the second half that I wouldn't say the floodgates opened, but it certainly became much more dominant for the Kangaroos. Angus Crichton scored a double with tries in the 44th and 64th minute. Reece Walsh wrapped it up in the 70th minute for a double on debut. Nathan Cleary finished with 5 from 5. England scoring a consolation try through Darryl Clark in the 75th minute. Mikey Lewis converted that try. 26 points to 6. Thank you, Jonty.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, MC.
See you next week.
Thank you, Den Dog. And thank you to Ned Hall in the studio. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
The 2025 Ashes Series. England versus Australia.
They're up over halfway through Walsh. They've got numbers as well. Here comes Marky. Mark gets the ball back on the inside. Staggs gets it away to Reece Walsh, who flies over the line. The big swan dive. And the debutant Reece Walsh will score the opening try for Australia. Kangaroos fans in the stands celebrate. Referee Liam Moore has gone upstairs. He says he has a try. And at this stage, Reece Walsh, on debut, has given Australia the lead. They come back open side left. Munster gets the ball away. And then Ruben Cotter has the ball 11 inside England's half. It's the final play. Australia leading 8-0. They come left. Angus Crichton goes straight through a gap. It's really starting to open up. He has numbers to the left of him, numbers to the right, and he doesn't need any of them. Angus Crichton goes himself and scores. Scooting out of dummy half is Grant again, looking for support, doesn't have any. So he takes the tackle of Knowles and a couple of others, including Lytton. Kai Pearce-Paul is in there as well. 20 away from England's line. It's play 4. They come left through Din, gets away to Cleary. On it goes Munster, dummies, goes himself back on the inside. Angus Crichton backing up for a double. Angus Crichton scores his second for Australia tonight. His 4th for Australia in his 9th Test match. And Australia are home and hosed now, you'd have to think. 18-0 with a kick to come. The blow-up Kangaroos are in the crowd. And the Kangaroos on the park are certainly starting to inflate as well. Coming to the left-hand side. Munster gets it away to Cleary out the back, keeping it alive for Walsh. Shibasaki numbers on the left. They've got 3-on-1. Shibasaki had Addo-Carr on the left-hand side, but he had Reece Walsh on his right. And Reece Walsh is the man he chooses to go over and score his double on Test debut for Australia. It is 24 points to 0, and after leading 6-0 just before half-time, the penalty goal made it 8 points to 0 on the stroke of half-time. It has been one-way traffic in the second half. 4.5 minutes to go. Attacking the line once again, Mike McKeegan. He'll get up and play the ball in his 12th Test match. 5 away from the line, they get 6 again. Out of dummy half is Darryl Clark. They come to the left, and Morgan Knowles is brought to ground 3 away from the line. Can they get over the line here, England? For their first points against Australia in 8 years, they can. Darryl Clark is the man who scores it. Bounces out of dummy half. Tired Australian defence, maybe switching off just a touch. And that will be all she wrote. 6-5-4-3. And the siren will sound at Wembley Stadium. Sean Wayne, the England coach, cuts the forlorn figure on the touchline. A double for Reece Walsh on debut. He is all smiles, as he always is. There are questions on the face of Sean Wayne. He is absolutely stunned by this result. It has been a thoroughly dominant performance, particularly in the second half by the Australians. Reece Walsh with a double, Angus Crichton with a double as well. And after leading by 8 points to 0 at half-time with 1 try and a penalty goal as well, it has finished at Wembley Stadium. The Kangaroos, in the first Ashes Test, have defeated England 26 points to 6.
I thought the best team won, Australia. They made, I don't even a line break score. We made line break, didn't score. We weren't clinical enough. But the positive thing is we can correct that. You know, we'll have a tough week this week. But I do feel we undersold ourselves today. We can be miles better than that, and that's what we aim to do.
Pretty happy with how we were out there. We had a really good week of training, class players in our team, so made it a lot easier for us boys in the spine and everybody on the team.
The 2025 Ashes Series,
England versus Australia.